Has anyone here read the Odyssey or the Iliad? Or know anything about Greek mythology?
I realized before the movie, I knew embarrassingly little about the Odyssey. Which is really, like, sad because this is, like, story TM, right? This is, like, the story.
This is the story, yeah.
It precedes the Bible and everything. Like, it's, like, the first story. And, yeah, I knew very little about it. And, this is funny. There was a point I was talking about the movie before it came out with, like, Sam and stuff. And I was like, I'm not entirely confident if Odysseus even makes it home. Like, I don't know. There's a chance he doesn't, I don't know. But no, I knew very little about the movie. I know Greek mythology. Like, I know, like, like Hades and stuff like that. I know these things, but I didn't know how they weave into the story.
He kept on going on about, like, I actually have, surprisingly for somebody who's literally an English student, which I feel like in most university like classes there's got to be at least one where they cover the Odyssey, but I haven't had that class
yet. This is also like a high school reading for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. I think that's more of an American thing because I never read it.
I don't think that's like that. I feel like that's a pretty university level like
a lot of people talk about how they read it in high school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
I
don't know,
but
I feel like that would be a little dense for high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like that's
Yeah, it's one thing to do Shakespeare because it's like short, but the Odyssey's long.
Yes.
And it's also unreadable. I'm sorry, that's just unreadable. Okay. I have the book.
You need to read some like old,
unreadable stuff. Yeah.
But I haven't read it, but I kind of know the beats. Like I'm familiar with the story at least a little bit.
Yeah.
As much as somebody can be without really like actually having read it or like having somebody like tell me the story in its entirety, But he kept on going on and on about, they said that, like, they go to Hades. What does that mean? Like, does it mean that they're dead? They can't just go.
So, from my understanding, Hades is hell. It's the underworld, right? So, to get to hell, you have to die. I know that's, like, a real thing. And there are cases in Greek mythology where you get to hell and then you can, like, come back out with, like, some exceptions.
Yeah.
So, I didn't understand how Odysseus and his crew just go into Hades and then come back out. For some reason, I couldn't really wrap my head around that.
Read any, like, old epic. There will be. That's literally like you study like epic conventions. That's one of the conventions that they have a descent into the underworld, and then they return.
I just didn't think you could just like walk back out of there. Yeah. That's what I thought. But no, yeah.
They're just like, okay, we're done here. Cool.
Yeah, but no, I knew very little about the Odyssey. Yeah. I mean, I know the gist of the story. It's this guy, he's lost in war and he's trying to get back home, and on his way back he learns a few lessons from like these different encounters he has. I knew there was a Cyclops, I knew he meets like these cannibal giants at some point, which isn't really in the movie in the same way. And I knew he meets some witch on some island, and I knew there was like Calypso involved. I didn't know much about Calypso, but I knew that Calypso had some involvement in the story. And then
I also haven't read it, but I feel like I know most of the beats. Like, I have friends who are, like, really into the Odyssey and Greek mythology, so I feel like over time it's just kind of rubbed off on me. And, like, just general pop culture stuff, like movies that reference the Odyssey.
Like, every movie is based on the Odyssey in some way.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as for, like, a direct, like, adaptation, I didn't know exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah. That's fair.
And, like, the whole thing with the suitors and stuff, I didn't really know much about that. I didn't know about Penelope or, like, Telemachus or, those guys. I knew about Odysseus and what he's doing. I didn't know there was a whole other thing going on back home.
Right.
Where there's all these, like, people trying to take over the place. But, yeah. So I kind of went in blind-ish, which is really strange to say because it's the Odyssey. But, right,
So before we get deeper into it, we should introduce the podcast.
All right.
Yeah, we do kind of have to do that.
Welcome back to Reeled In. I'm Alex.
I'm Sam.
I'm Asmon.
I'm Avery.
This is a podcast where three film buffs try to reel in their non-film buff friend into their world of cinema, and then she tries to do the same to us. This week, we're not doing any of that. We're just talking about the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Because we all saw the Odyssey this
weekend.
Crazy.
Wow. Such a big movie is a good way to end our season 2, because this is the season 2 finale. We'll be back. Don't worry.
The Odyssey
don't miss us too much.
Like, final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this is kind of the finale of movies.
It kind of is, yeah.
No more movies after
this.
No more
movies.
There's no need, really. Like, it's all done. Like,
yeah.
We've told enough stories to finally go all the way back to the Odyssey.
Yeah, it's like a full circle moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah. But for the season finale, we also have some fun stats at the end. So keep listening until after.
The Odyssey. This is Nolan's 13th film?
I think, 13th.
Yeah.
That sounds about
This
right.
is his 13th film, and it's his third film in the 2020s, which is kind of crazy, honestly.
His third film in a row about the atomic bomb.
Right.
What was the first one?
Tenet.
Oh.
We don't need to. I feel like, do we need to describe like the plot of the Odyssey and what it is? I feel like.
How about Avery? How about you describe
no.
the Odyssey?
No,
There's
because
this guy.
No, I want to get into the story. I want to because I think it is interesting, the whole Tenet, Oppenheimer, and the Odyssey thing, because people have been talking a lot about that.
Oh, we'll get into that.
Sure.
But just describe what you think this movie is.
Okay.
In the
What
basic-ish way.
An Avery summary?
Well,
This
like
movie
a,
can be summarized in a
Okay.
Avery
He gets
way.
lost
So
and then he comes back home.
Matt Damon he's a guy and he has a
Odysseus.
wife. I don't know any of their names. I'm
You
gonna
don't know
refer.
Odysseus' name? His name? He's like the
The
movie's
Odyssey.
named
I
after
know.
him.
Okay.
Odysseus. They say it
Sorry,
50,000 times in the movie.
I'm gonna refer to them as the actors, okay? So Matt
No.
Damon, he has a wife played by Anne Hathaway and a son.
And her name is... That's like the easiest
Come
name to remember.
on.
That's like an actual name.
Penelope.
Penelope, yes, that was my and then they have a son who's played by Tom Holland.
Who is
Telemachus.
Telemachus.
Yeah, and then
Also an actual name.
So Telemachus?
Telemachus.
Telemachus.
Who have you met named Telemachus?
It's
Tom Holland.
Well, yeah, but it's just
I get Penelope. That's like a normal name. Telemachus?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I'm gonna name my son
Yeah,
Telemachus.
that's a cool fucking name. That's a really
Yeah.
cool name.
Okay. Basically, Matt Damon went to war, I guess, and there was this thing with like a horse and how he like won.
Okay, surely you knew about that at least. You know
Do you
about
know what the Trojan horse is?
I'm sure I've seen it, but I knew I don't know.
No, but like
anything.
the concept of a Trojan
I
horse.
am aware that there is a horse made of wood.
No, but like the idea
No,
of a
the thing.
Trojan horse, like somebody hiding
Like,
in a
have
horse.
you heard those words, Trojan
I'm sure
horse?
I have. I don't think I ever really
You know
knew
about
the
like
meaning.
the computer virus, a Trojan
Right.
horse.
No.
It's just like a common like term that we've accepted in like our lexicon.
This movie
Like
kind
even
of
if you don't know the story of the Odyssey.
right,
Yeah.
not the movie. The poem like invented a lot of these terms. You know,
Mhm.
it's kind of crazy.
Like Odyssey is like
Yeah.
an actual word that people use.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's named after the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys? Do you guys remember when I said what does Odyssey mean? I have literally asked you guys this. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about this story. Or
No,
about
I know,
Greek
but like
mythology.
Trojan horse is such a like.
I've heard that
Yeah.
term before, but I don't know.
Sure.
Okay.
Anyways,
Whatever.
so he hides in this horse statue boat thing that he wants to. It's like a gift for someone, for Zendaya.
The people of Troy.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Kind of, sure, yeah. It's a good version.
yeah, but it's
There
just
you
funny
go.
that you just call her Zendaya. That's a gift.
It sounds like a Greek name.
Do you know who Zendaya plays? Her name? That's an easy name.
It's like
It's like a really common like
the like
Sarah.
Greek goddess.
Athena.
Oh, okay. Well, they all the soldiers hide in the horse, and then the other people drag it to their temple area.
Troy,
and
the
then
city of Troy.
Troy, and then in the night they all escape and they take over Troy,
Mhm.
and then they win the war. Yay!
Yes.
And then Matt Damon tries to get back home, but then all of his crew members die throughout the movie. And then back home,
But like
Robert Pattinson's trying to like.
What's his name?
Fuck if I know.
I actually don't
he's the
remember his
evil
name.
I don't
guy.
remember his name either.
But-
Antinous? Oh my god.
Antinous.
Antinous.
Something like that.
is
Yeah.
trying to marry
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway because
Alongside like a million other people.
and all
Yeah.
these other people, but he's the
Antinous?
main bad
No.
guy. Because they believe that Matt Damon's dead or that he's not coming back or something. Anne Hathaway doesn't believe that, which is why she doesn't want to remarry. And then he comes back and then he like reclaims home.
Oh, so he doesn't do that actually.
He does. He kills everyone.
Yeah, and then he gets exiled, so he leaves.
No, they go off together.
Yeah, to exile.
Well, okay, I didn't view it. Whatever. That's the best
once
I
again
can do.
you did the start and the end.
That's the best I can do, guys.
She said, he went on some adventures and the crew members died.
Which is what happened.
That's like 80% of the movie summed up in that one sentence.
They did die.
It
It's
did die.
true.
Yeah.
So,
God.
This is where
They go
I
on many
sign off,
misadventures.
guys.
No, you have to
I
stop.
have.
Yeah. Well,
You
Avery,
guys
have you
start.
seen any other? Well, I mean, we did Interstellar for the podcast. Have you seen any other Christopher Nolan
Have you seen
movies?
the Batman movies?
No, I've seen Oppenheimer.
Dark
I
Knight.
did watch Oppenheimer.
Have you
when
seen
that
The Dark
came out.
Knight?
That's true.
I think I have.
Have you
Is
seen-
that the one with the half face burned
Yes.
off?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
seen
Have you
that.
seen Inception? The
No.
dream one?
I watched the first 10 minutes and got confused, so then I stopped.
The first 10 minutes. Okay. But The Dark Knight Rises.
God, don't watch that one.
That's a good one.
What's
I
not?
like that. It's so
No,
epic.
it was funny.
Okay, look, the opening scene of that movie is one of the best scenes Nolan ever did.
Sure.
It's so good.
And then he forgets how to make a movie for the rest of the things.
No, it's awesome.
No, it's
I-
not.
If you just don't pay attention to how broken the script is and you just watch the movie and look at colors on the screen,
I could
it's
say
awesome.
the same thing about
I
Tenet.
could do that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
such
true,
an
that's
awesome
true.
movie, but like it's bullshit.
Yeah, the script is bullshit, but it's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Do you remember the opening of Tenet?
No,
The opera sequence?
no.
Oh, it's so
I don't.
good.
The
I've seen
only
clips
thing I
of
remember
Tenet.
from Tenet is I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago.
And then he beats him up.
What the
That's all I
fuck?
remember.
No,
That's good.
I was like, when I was kind of preparing for the Odyssey, I'm like, you know what? I actually haven't seen The Dark Knight. So I was like, oh, well, I should probably start with Batman Begins. And that was like
Great
the worst
movie.
movie ever made. I hated
Aw.
it. I'm sorry.
That's
I
awesome.
actually, like, I'm not
He
kidding. The
fights
first
ninjas.
20
That's
minutes,
cool.
I was actually, like, it's rare for me to, like, decide 20 minutes in that I'm not gonna like the movie unless it's, like, really bad. And
Man.
I watched the first 10 minutes. I saw the editing.
You're
I
not-
saw I was like, I can't do this. And it took me forever to get
You're
through
not
that
Nolan
movie.
pilled,
She's a
man.
hater.
And
You
then
gotta be
I
Nolan
watched The
pilled.
Dark Knight and it was a lot better.
It
Still
is.
not the greatest movie ever. And I was
It
kind of
kind of
realizing
is.
I'm like,
I will
oh,
say,
no,
I haven't
dude.
rewatched The Dark Knight since I was like 12 years old, and I feel like if I did, I wouldn't like it as much, so I'm just never gonna rewatch
I watched
Okay.
it 2 years ago and it's still the greatest
Yeah?
movie ever.
No.
Okay.
It's Heat with Batman in it. Like that's it's the best movie ever.
No,
Do you don't like the opening heist sequence? That's just Heat. It's the final act of
sure.
Heat.
I
love
think
Natalie Portman.
it's too carried by Heath Ledger. If Heath Ledger,
But he's in the entire movie, so I don't know
I
why
know,
people say that.
but everybody else sucks.
That's not true.
No,
I think
no.
Harvey Dent's a great character.
That's
People
true.
say,
but everybody
oh,
else sucks.
People say, "Oh, Heath."
Batman's cool in that
No,
movie.
I'm sorry. I don't like Christian Bale
People
as
say
Batman.
Heath Ledger
Yeah, he's
carried the
great.
movie, but Heath
Isn't
Ledger
he,
is
like,
in
the
the
best
entire
one,
movie.
apparently?
So what are you talking about? He's in the entire movie.
No, I
Did you
know.
say Avery?
I'm just saying. I
Isn't
feel
he
like you
known as,
can't.
the best Batman, Christian Bale.
No,
No.
it's Rob
Debatable.
Pattinson now. I think more.
Yeah, now it's Robert
Christian
Pattinson.
Bale is like I don't know. He's too and like I told this to Alex and he looked at me funny. But I feel like all of the Batman movies. Like, well, I mean, I haven't seen The Dark Knight Rises. I'm probably gonna have to watch it, unfortunately.
It's
but
so good.
um,
I mean,
in
it sucks,
in
but it's
both
really good.
Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, I feel like there's this issue where whenever there's supposed to be like some character development, it's just Christian Bale being like, "Oh man, here is this issue that I'm having," and then it's like some other character being like. Immediately as he said that, being like, "Well, here's this insightful thing," and he's like, "Oh, okay," and that's it. There's
Yes,
no
awesome.
It's
there's no
Batman.
patience.
He doesn't have time for that
Like,
shit.
Christopher Nolan in everything
city
before
needs
this
him.
just has no patience whatsoever, and it's like we just need to go through all of this, and then it makes it way less effective, in my opinion. So, like, as I was like watching these, I'm like, maybe I just don't like Christopher Nolan. Like, I actually haven't given any of his movies like 5 stars, well, at least before this. And so I was kind of like scared going into the Odyssey, and then I watched the Odyssey and it was
You
amazing.
know, like
so
Oppenheimer.
I agree generally with the point you're making. I think it's fine with Batman because it's just like I don't care.
I guess.
He does Batman,
But it
things.
feels
I
like
don't
he's
care.
trying. I think it's like it feels like he's trying to be like more. Oh, this is deep and like emotional, when it's really not. Like if he
Sure.
did just kind of fully lean into like this looks cool, then I'd be like cool.
He did that with Tenet. He really
Sure,
leaned
I
into
haven't
too
seen
much,
Tenet.
actually.
Even Dunkirk.
Dunkirk has like 2 lines of dialogue, maybe.
Yeah.
And then it's just cool stuff happening.
Dark Knight Rises. That's not a deep movie.
That's
It's
such
just
a
cool
long
things.
movie, and it's so fucking boring.
I don't
think
think
you
it's
forget how
boring.
boring that movie is.
I don't think it's boring.
No, man.
I think
come
it's
on.
dumb, but it's not boring.
Nothing.
Every time Bane is on screen, I'm like, this is the best
But
thing
he's
ever.
barely in the movie.
He's in the movie twice.
No,
he's in
he's-
it more than Batman.
Is he?
Yeah.
What about that whole
in, like,
time where
every
like
scene.
Batman's like in prison and he has to climb up the well?
Yeah, that stuff is great.
It's so boring. I'm sorry.
It's awesome.
No. Okay. No. Nolan has his tendencies as a writer. which are quite, frustrating to watch, and they're bad for the most part.
Yeah.
And I feel like I think the one time where he completely fixed all of his writing problems and didn't, fall into those traps was with Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I don't know
That is his magnum opus. I still think it's his best movie.
I don't know how he wrote that movie, but it doesn't have any of the Nolan tendencies. I feel like one of his tendencies is that every single line is just exposition. There's barely any character development, and I feel the same way about Inception. I feel the same way about the Batman movies and fucking I don't know what else, like Memento and stuff. It's just all serving the plot, the story. Yeah. But with Oppenheimer, there's so much more. I guess it is a different type of movie, where it's like more character study type of movie. But there's so much more room for actually feeling the character and stuff.
Yeah. And I think he also kind of fixed it in this one too, because I feel like, I mean, there is a lot happening, and you are trying to compact a pretty big story into as much as it's what, 2 hours and
almost 3 hours.
Almost 3 hours. Yep. It's still a lot to compact in even that much time, and even then they had to cut scenes because the IMAX projectors just couldn't handle more than that.
Yeah.
I can't even handle it as it is. There's reports of the projectors overheating everywhere.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Because he wants to project it in IMAX 70mm, and there's only I think 40 or something theaters in North America that can show it in 70mm, and it can only show it for 3 hours. So he had an actual limitation of it can't be longer than 3 hours.
That's actually kind of crazy.
This movie, okay, we'll get to it, but I think this movie does have many flaws and has many writing faults and stuff.
I think it definitely does.
Yeah.
I would say not more so than his other movies. I do agree his writing is a very weak point in his movies.
I feel
whether it's him writing it or someone else writing the scripts, it's always a weak point. And I think that's the same in this one.
I feel like if he had a good relationship with some professional screenwriter, his movies would be perfect. Because he can direct the fuck out of a movie. He's really good at that. But it's his scripts where it all falls apart.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that way about Oppenheimer at all. I think Oppenheimer...
I think that's the exception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I think, from start to finish, it's such an engaging movie. It's so interesting, and the characters are so complex.
Okay, you disagree, clearly.
I don't like that movie, but that's just...
Really?
To me, it's just boring in comparison to the Odyssey. At least the Odyssey, it was there's stuff happening.
It's a courtroom movie, edited and directed like an action movie. It's the coolest fucking thing.
It's just there's just not much happening though in
There's
Oppenheimer.
so
it's just
happening.
they sit in a room and they talk.
Right, but it's
so
fucking
good.
cool.
It's not. I don't know. I didn't find it that interesting when I
that's
watched
fine.
it.
That's fair.
Sorry,
but...
it's not my type of movie.
That's fair. People,
I feel like I need to rewatch Oppenheimer because I remember loving it, but I actually only give it a 9 out of 10, which I'm kind of thinking about it. I don't remember why. I remember it just didn't reach that. I loved it, but it just didn't reach that 10 out of 10. I'm sure if I rewatched it, it would be that. But I don't know. There was something holding me back. But from what I remember, I loved it. It was great.
With Nolan movies, and this is people have been arguing about this, oh, Nolan's an IMAX elitist guy, and we can't we here in Asia and stuff, we can't even watch his movies properly because we don't have IMAX theaters. And I think that's a fair critique, and there is a discussion to be had with that.
I don't know.
But
I think it's overblown.
I mean, I feel okay. From what I've heard, I haven't seen the movie in its without IMAX, and people say, oh, it doesn't make much of a difference, the movie's still great. But I feel like the IMAX does add a lot to the movie.
It adds to it. But people talk about it as if the normal way of watching it is subtractive, it's cutting stuff out.
That's
not true.
That's not true.
It's framed for both aspect ratios. Yeah. And the point of IMAX isn't supposed to be that the whole frame is filled with information, especially 70mm IMAX with the taller aspect ratio. The point is supposed to be that it's more immersive,
right?
Because it's adding unnecessary information to the peripheral.
Yeah.
It fills out your peripheral vision. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to fill the frame with information. So when you go and see it at a regular theater, it's not cutting information out. You're seeing how it's meant to be seen. IMAX is additive, and people act like it's the other way around, which makes no sense.
Right. And people have this argument. What?
Good.
What were you saying?
Yeah.
People were saying like
clearly not.
they were comparing it to like a Kurosawa film where like in High and Low where every part of the frame has something going on, like the blocking, this and that, and they were like, oh, if Nolan used IMAX in that way, it would be so much cooler to watch in IMAX. But if he did that, then the people not watching it in IMAX would actually miss out on something in the movie.
And even when you're watching it in IMAX, you can't like really pay attention to everything because it's so big.
Exactly.
Avery, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, as someone who doesn't go to the movie theater that often, I notice no difference in between IMAX and
I don't know how
normal.
people say that.
but-
People, I don't
But
have
also,
no idea how
like,
people say
when
that.
we go to IMAX, it's more Limax. Like we're not really seeing like the
Even
true
then,
IMAX.
how can you not tell the difference? There's
I
such
mean,
a
There's
bigger
still a difference.
It's
difference.
a
Yeah.
bigger screen,
And
but
it's-
it doesn't take away. Like, if you made me watch, the Odyssey in normal or IMAX, I would still have the same experience.
Did you see it in IMAX?
Did we see it?
We did not see it in
Oh,
IMAX.
You
there
didn't
we
see it in
go.
Okay,
IMAX?
because I was
No.
gonna.
That's fucked, man.
We couldn't.
Getting more into the movie now, kind of halfway through, but when there's the like cave sequence,
Oh,
were
I
your
love that
ears
sequence.
like actually about to blow off your head?
Yeah, no, it was
Because
still really
Was
loud.
it
In
still loud?
IMAX,
Okay.
oh my god! Like I actually
That is the
was-
loudest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I was so
Yeah.
close to like covering my ears.
love
I
the
was
cave.
like, it actually like scared me. I was like, I feel like my
Was
ears
it
are about
that
to pop.
loud? I don't
It was
remember
pretty
it
loud.
being
It was so-
loud.
It
Maybe
was
I was
like
distracted.
really loud
When
in
the Cyclops
IMAX at
screams.
least.
Oh yeah, that was like
It
a
was
shriek, but
so
I didn't think
fucking
of it as
loud.
like louder than
Or like
anything else.
when
I
they're
don't
it
know.
was
when
really
they're
loud.
on
It
the
was
boat
really
and there's like
loud.
the lightning and it's like
Oh, yeah.
freaking like it's like
They need to have like an epilepsy warning.
do.
before
They
They
did when we
did.
went.
Yeah.
They did for
Actually?
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
Because
no,
I
it's
read
funny.
it out, I was like, oh shit.
It's funny.
We had like the full VIP experience.
This is true.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah.
When we
There was like a guy that came out and introduced the movie.
really,
He's like,
Yeah,
thank you for
wow.
coming out to see Christopher Nolan's latest epic, The Odyssey. We hope you
Whoa.
enjoy the
Yeah.
show.
and it wasn't even an IMAX.
No,
That's crazy.
this is the normal screening.
We
He
were
was
going
just
in, there was
very
like a little
excited.
sign at the entrance, like, oh, by the way, photosensitive warning for this movie. And we're like, oh, okay, whatever. And then that sequence happens where it's flashing. I was having like spasms. I'm like, this is going on for
I
a
had
long
to, like,
time. And it's
cover,
really loud
like,
and
the
it's really
top
big.
of my eyes so that I could look at it, but it wasn't like destroying my eyes. I was like, jeez.
It's a long
my God.
sequence. It's
It's
so
really
fucking
long.
loud.
It is,
The
yeah.
Cyclops stuff?
No, the
No,
boat.
he's on the boat and there's a lightning and it's doing the flashing.
Oh, okay.
It was
I
fucking
I
insane.
yeah.
It was
Or like when I forget the character's name, not Helen, but like her twin sister.
right.
Where
When she screams, that I like
Yeah.
jumped. and it
yeah.
was so loud, like before she kills
Yeah.
Agamemnon.
yeah.
But no, the point I was making about IMAX is that for me, it's hard to, Nolan makes these movies and they're always like big events every single time he releases a movie. It's like, oh, you
Yeah.
gotta watch the Nolan movie in IMAX, blah, 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 70 millimeter, whatever. So it's hard for me to like separate the movie with the experience of watching it, right? I feel
Yeah.
the same way about Oppenheimer. I mean, Oppenheimer, I still think I've seen it at home and it's still like an amazing movie for me. But watching it like in IMAX for the first time and like, seeing the Trinity test and like seeing this and that, it was so fucking insane.
Yeah.
Right, and I can't separate that movie from that feeling. And I feel the same way about The Odyssey. It's hard for me to separate a Nolan movie from the experience of having seen it in IMAX. And like with The Odyssey, with all of its flaws and stuff, and I know there's many, and I can think of many. When you're watching it and like you hear that fucking Cyclops scream, it's insane, right? And like there's not
Yeah.
many movies I can think of in a movie theater that like exhibit like that give you that sort of visceral reaction, and so that like heightens the movie a lot for me.
Yeah,
personally.
I'm honestly like completely on the same track where like the more that I've kind of, because it's been what, like 4 or 5 days since we
About a
saw
week.
it,
Yeah.
almost a week, and the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, there are these issues. Yeah, the more I hear stuff about what people are saying, I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. But like I just remember, like, it's very rare for me to like immediately, right as I'm like in the middle of the movie, saying this is 5 stars, like for me to like that's very rare. And I feel like the theater experience does just add to it, like just everything. And like I completely understand if like people brought it down and like just ignored that. Like I'm sure this is kind of just like me being like, whoa, movie whoa, movie in the theater experience, like so mesmerizing.
Popcorn and soda pop. Wow.
It's just like I'm
It's
like
just really,
I
it's
love
just
having a good,
it's a fun time at the movies.
I love
It's a
having
really
a good
at
time at the
movies.
movies.
Every single time Odysseus fucking hits the bow,
Oof.
then that score
That's so
Yeah.
come on, man.
The score was so
The score's
good.
amazing.
I don't think it's one of his best, but it's good.
Really? What do you think
not
is
one of
his
his
best
best.
score?
Oppenheimer.
Okay, yeah.
So
that's fair.
Like, Oppenheimer's fucking insane.
Is this
That
just
is
going to
one
be
of
an
the best
episode about
scores.
Oppenheimer?
Hmm?
You guys are just going to keep bringing up Oppenheimer?
It's a really good score. Oppenheimer's edited like a music video. It's just his score driving the entire movie. It's insane.
Oppenheimer
But no, the
has a
score's
really good
amazing.
score.
The score's great. I think of the sirens scene and the score during that scene where he's tied to the mast. And that's beautiful music.
I will say I never had that point watching the movie where I was like, oh, this is clearly 5 stars.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I ever got there. Even right from the start, I think there was something off about it from the beginning.
Huh.
Really? What was it for you?
I think the first 30 minutes I think is a little rough. I think it's moving so fast and there's so much exposition and I don't feel like he really lets you sit in that world. And that's a problem throughout the movie, but especially early on. And it doesn't help that I think the first 30 minutes are really carried by this person who I think gave easily the weakest performance in the movie.
Who?
Tom Holland.
Oh.
I don't think he was great.
He's not the biggest performance in the movie, but I think part of that is because of the physical constraint they have of not being longer than 3 hours, and I think that's why there's no breathing room in the movie.
But I think Tom Holland is great at the big emotional moments. Towards the end, I think he is really great. But I feel like when he's just talking normally, he has a tendency to rush through his lines, and he's just saying it so matter-of-factly as if he's reading it on the page for the first time, and it really doesn't work for me.
You bring up the performances, and I will say one of the biggest flaws in the movie is there is an inconsistency among the performances, and I say that in the sense of everyone in the movie thinks they're in a different movie. I feel like Rob Pattinson is in a different movie, Tom Holland's in a different movie, and Anne Hathaway's in a completely different movie.
Yeah.
And there is that inconsistency, and it is kind of bothersome. And I feel like, for me at least, it comes alive with, this is my least favorite part of the entire movie, with the Calypso scenes.
Yeah.
I really didn't enjoy Charlize Theron as Calypso. I feel like the movie doesn't give you nearly enough context to understand who Calypso is and why she's there or what's really going on. And I feel like her look as a whole is really strange. When we first see her with her blonde hair and whatever she's wearing, it's just, it feels off. It feels strange.
It feels like she's in a magazine photo shoot.
Yeah, it feels strange. And I understand that
Or
Calypso,
in a perfume commercial.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I understand that Calypso's meant to be this really attractive, alluring type of person wearing these clothes and looking this way, but I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't help that they cut a lot out of those scenes.
Yeah. I feel like the more I hear more about the original text and kind of what happens, the more I wish they would have spent more time. Because even the one part about the Odyssey that I did know a decent amount about was Calypso for some reason. And so when it was just kind of a side thing, and it's he spent 7 years there.
Yeah,
and
they were
nothing.
Fucking every day.
But there's also with Cersei, they stayed for a long time too. They were also fucking,
right.
And they had a child who there's nothing with that. He sits with Cersei for 10 minutes, and that's it.
There's so many different versions of the original text. In one of in one of the versions of the text, which is now lost, when he has this child with Cersei, who's an illegitimate child, when Odysseus goes back home, the child comes to him and he kills him. That's one of the endings of the movie. And another ending of the story, Odysseus dies, he drowns someplace, or he gets killed by the side. So there's many different versions. And this is Nolan's version of the story, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But Calypso, in the context of the myth, she is trapped on that island by the gods. She's being punished by the gods or something. And there's nothing in the movie that even hints towards that. At least not that I could catch.
Yeah, they completely I think it might have just been because I already know Calypso and stuff, but they didn't mention that at all. It's just oh, he's here.
I'm not saying you need to give context to every single thing. For instance, when they go to that those big giant armored people, you don't need to provide context as to who these people are. It doesn't matter. I get the point. But with Calypso, who's kind of an important part of the story, you gotta give me something.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And so it's there's definitely some stuff that I wish he would have explored a bit more, but I don't know, for me I was just whoa, crazy movie,
and cool score.
I think I feel like it might be also kind of that first watch bias, especially with something that's so hyped up. We were in a full theater, and it was just but I'm sure if I it's the thing I said where oh, I'm sure if you looked at it closely, there's probably a lot of different issues with it that would bring down, the watching experience, but like I don't know, man. When I was like, whoa,
there is an element of like recency bias and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was super excited for the movie. Like I didn't envision a world where I would give this anything less than like a 4.5, and like that's just how it is, right? I was super excited for it. It was like it's another Nolan movie. I love watching a Nolan movie in the theaters. It's like the greatest thing, and so you know.
I mean, maybe like I'm just not as high on Nolan as a lot of people. Like I love Oppenheimer. I think that's a masterpiece. But aside from that, like, and I guess The Dark Knight also. But otherwise, I think his movies are good and fun.
No,
but I'm not like Nolan's one of the best directors.
No, I know. I would
like
never
that.
put a Nolan movie in my top like 30 like best movies or anything. But just like. You know, there's no director out there right now that gets me, like, you know, I'm releasing a movie, and I'm like, I gotta see this in the movie theaters. You know, there aren't that many directors like that. And also, there aren't that many blockbuster directors like that. Like, I can think of, like, many, like, independent directors I'd be like, oh, I'd love to see that movie, you know? Like, I can think of, like, a Matt Johnson, or, like, you know, like, even, like, Sophie Romario. I was really excited to see Blue Heron, right? Like, that's an independent movie. But, like, these big blockbuster movies, I don't really care for them most of the time.
Yeah.
You know? And Nolan is now making these big blockbuster movies, and he has been for a while, and I'm always excited for them. And like, you know, Denis Villeneuve is making like the Dune movies. That's something I'm excited for. And you know, like in this way, and they make like, you know, like Avengers Doomsday. And I don't really care about that.
Like I'm similar to you, Alex. We're like I said, when I was watching like the first two movies of like the Dark Knight trilogy, I was like, I don't think I'm a fan of Christopher Nolan. And like even then, like Oppenheimer was the standout for me, but even then I had a 9 out of 10. And so, but I don't know, like this one just like, maybe it is the recency bias, but I think it was also just like, I mean, I feel like one of the standouts is just the way that it's shot and how beautiful everything is. And I love just the shots of like the water, the waves when they're on the boat, or like just like the surroundings. It's
dolphins.
Whoa.
The dolphins.
Yeah.
I did like the dolphins.
How did you guys like get introduced to like Nolan? Because I feel like that for me is a big part for Nolan. For me, Interstellar or like Inception was one of the first like real movies I ever saw, and so for me as a kid, I was like, oh, Nolan's the best director. Like, you know how all 12-year-olds are. Like, Nolan's the best director. So that was how it started for me.
I mean, I watched Batman Begins and The Dark Knight when I was pretty young, so it must have been that. And I saw his other stuff later.
I think Inception was my first, but I don't even remember when it was a long time ago.
I just remember Interstellar having a lasting impact on me, and then growing up I was like, okay, well these movies aren't that great, but like I like Nolan, so it is what it is. And
when you saw Oppenheimer, Avery, have you seen a Nolan movie before that, or was that your first one?
Yeah, I had seen the one Batman movie, and I had seen Interstellar, and I think that's it.
But you weren't like a fan of Nolan before?
If you told me that, like, if you asked me when I went to go see the movie who directed it, I couldn't have answered it.
Really?
That's interesting, because I think for most people it's the other way around. I feel like a lot of people, like, my mom knows who Nolan is, right? My mom couldn't name you anyone else, any other like film director, but people know who Christopher Nolan is. And I saw this
He's
poll.
like Tarantino in that way. Like my dad knows the name Tarantino.
Exactly.
He knows Nolan.
I saw this poll online. It was like more people watch The Odyssey because it's a Nolan movie than because Tom Holland's in the movie. Yeah. You know, like people like the cast is huge, but like it's a Nolan movie, and that's what makes it like big.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's fine.
But that's the sort of like pull he has. And,
well,
you know,
keep in mind, I'm not a film bro guy.
No, I know, but like, I'm talking about like the average like. You know,
I probably had heard the name, but like Steven Spielberg was one I could name.
Right.
A few, but that's probably the only director I genuinely or JJ.
I think Nolan is like
George Lucas. Those are probably the only.
I think Nolan is the new Spielberg's. Scorsese kind of guy that the average person knows the name of. But I guess like that comes with you, like the assumption that like you've seen The Dark Knight and you love those kind of movies. Because The Dark Knight was like one of the highest grossing movies of all time when it came out.
I remember. I watched it when I was a kid. It's probably been like, what, 15 years?
Yeah.
So
The Dark Knight is like immortal. Batman. Like it's even in the IMDb like top 10 or something. Yeah. Like, it's a huge fucking movie, you know?
Yeah. So Avery, what did
Batman movie?
Yeah,
That's fair.
Avery, what did you think overall? Like, was there anything that stood out to you?
Any scene specifically, like of all the little
sheep.
like things he did?
The sheep.
The sheep. Yeah, let's talk about that.
I love the sheep.
So
in this movie.
During the scene with Polyphemus, the Cyclops,
Oh,
she just started laughing, and I was like, why are you? This is horrifying. What are you laughing at? And she just says the sheep.
Are you...
Can you explain what was funny about the sheep?
Because it's like this, like, you know, they're like...
That scene was horrifying.
Like, I didn't find it... like, you found it scary?
It's meant to be, like, fucking scary.
I didn't find that scary. It's just they go, there's, like, a cyclops and, you know...
like, eating them.
Who's eating them, but, you, like, you know, and then they, like, fight back and then they disguise themselves as sheep. That's, like, funny. Anyways.
How is that funny?
Funny!
Oh my
Because
God.
it's, like, intense screaming and then it's just bah, bah. It's funny, guys. Anyways,
Okay. Did you like that scene?
I think it was a pretty good scene.
I would say that was one of my least favorites of the kind of little journeys that he went on. I wasn't a big fan of it. I think my issue with that is kind of my overall issue with the movie, where it just goes too fast. Like, I feel like there's no sense of time in that scene, where I feel like you need like 5 to 10 more minutes to really like make it clear that like they feel trapped in this very claustrophobic situation. There's a passage of time and they're waiting for the right moment. And I feel like it's done in like this really fast, like Christopher Nolan montagey kind of way, where it's done as this big like set piece, but that kind of scene needs to be slow and more like methodical.
That's fair. I saw this thing recently. Ridley Scott said something like, "Oh, I love the movie The Searchers and I love Lawrence of Arabia because these movies really make you feel like you're walking through the fucking desert, and it takes you a long time to cross this desert." And with the Odyssey, they're like, "Oh, we spent 10 years on this beach. We should probably leave." And then at the cave, they're like, "Oh, we spent a long time here. Oh, at Calypso, I spent like 7 years there. It's been a while."
Yeah,
and
it's too fast.
Yeah,
for me.
and I mean, I will say it's such a packed story, and I understand why they have to move this way. I agree with that. I think that's a fair complaint. I didn't feel that as much. Like, I knew that, you know, they'd been in the cave for I don't know how long they actually spent in the cave. I assume a couple days, I would assume.
Well, yeah, it's like daytime and nighttime.
Yeah. But it passes, like a day passes in like a minute.
Yeah,
it's really... What are you supposed to show, though?
Yeah, like
them crying.
I feel like they should show them like meandering a little bit, like talking.
Like this film is edited in a way where there's not a single moment to breathe. No. Like every frame of the movie advances the story, and I feel like you need like those atmospheric moments to just kind of establish like the time and the space. And he's not really doing that. It's just kind of moving at this breakneck speed.
It's really funny because that's my exact issue with basically everything else that Christopher Nolan has made. But I didn't feel that way with this movie.
And it works with Oppenheimer because he leans into it and is constantly cross-cutting through time. And that doesn't work here because he doesn't lean into it. Like he's trying to establish like this passage of time, but it's just not working for me.
I think, especially with a movie called The Odyssey, you're supposed to like spend a lot of time there. But I think despite all that, by the end of the movie, I still feel like, wow, that was a lot, man. Like we went through a lot, and then you know, I think there's a thing of like you're tired. Like by the end of the movie, you're like, fuck, like a lot happened, you know. Yeah. And so I think it does work. I agree that if there was more time spent in these places, it'd be a lot more effective. It'd feel like more of like, you know, trudging through the sea and stuff like that. But you know, it's fine.
I think it genuinely could have been 4 hours.
But like it physically couldn't have been.
It physically couldn't have been. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's the issue.
I don't know. On first watch, like I didn't feel it at all. It didn't feel too long. It didn't feel too short. And I'm sure I would probably recognize it because that's an issue I found in every other thing that, you know, I've watched by Christopher Nolan, where I'm like, can you take some time, please? Like, I think in my Batman Begins review, I literally just say, can Christopher Nolan learn how to have some patience? Like, it feels like he's just speeding through everything. And I'm sure this is mostly less of, like, his fault, more probably the restraints of, like, you know, the medium that he's using.
You should
but
watch
still...
The Dark Knight Rises, because fucking nothing happens.
Okay.
Nothing
so much happens.
No, it's so slow, man. It's so fucking boring.
In Batman
I agree.
Begins,
The Dark Knight Rises isn't great, but you have the complete wrong opinion about why it's not great.
Do I?
Yeah. The movie's epic. It's
no, what do you mean it's epic?
It's epic.
I'm not
kidding. So cool.
In Batman
Bane
Begins,
is so cool. He blows up a plane. He blows up a football stadium. He blows everything up. It's
Jesus
so cool.
Christ. In Batman
I
Begins,
say that about my movies. Y'all hate on
and
me
then Batman
but
because
himself,
of Bane, it's so cool.
Bane is cool, and then Batman himself blows up at the end. That's really cool. There's a lot of explosion in that movie.
no, it's
so cool.
It's so stupid because in like Batman Begins, like there will literally be a scene where they'll be like, oh, we have to do this thing in a couple days. And then, I'm not kidding, there will be a 5-second scene in a completely different location where a character says one line. And then we're back, and it's been
Nolan
2 days,
does that.
and it's like, okay, we're off now.
That's just
and
a
I'm
Nolan.
like,
Nolan does that.
What do you mean?
You
Like,
need to
what?
watch Tenet. They're having a conversation. They're like, okay, hold on, and they fly to fucking Oslo, and then they continue the conversation. It's so good.
What do you mean?
And then they,
Like, why
no,
are
but the
you
thing is,
doing that?
you have that problem. You're like, oh, that's so stupid. Why would they do that? But then they crash a plane into the airport. You're like, oh, you know what?
That doesn't
No,
even.
it's
I'm like,
great.
dude, like, stop. Like, why?
That's why I'm saying Oppenheimer is great, because Oppenheimer does the same thing where like the average scene in Oppenheimer is like 12 seconds,
Right.
but it leans into it so much that it works.
And also,
Yeah.
Oppenheimer is a character study, and you're like looking at things through Oppenheimer's mind and
Yeah.
stuff. It's all fragmented, so it just works. Like that movie, it's so well put together.
It's
It's unbelievable.
It is a
how-
perfectly constructed movie.
I don't know how the fuck they did that. There's so many different elements.
know.
Like, it's insane.
God.
But yeah, no. So speaking of Oppenheimer, so I've been seeing.
We're just talking
no,
about
no, no.
Oppenheimer now.
People have
Sorry,
been
go
saying
ahead.
like, oh, Tenet, Oppenheimer, and the Odyssey are movies about the same exact thing, and they form
Yeah.
somewhat of like a connected spiritual trilogy. And
Yeah.
I think that is true in many ways. Like they're all, like you said, Alex, they're all movies about the atomic bomb
It's
and
true, yeah.
about the end of the world and how, like, the sort of illusion of control and egotistical nature of a man kind of, brings the world
Right.
down type
Yeah.
of thing.
I will say one of the lines that really pissed me off in this movie is when Matt Damon just straight up says like, our age of bronze is coming to an end. That's so on the nose. But the point they're making there, I think, is really effective. That, like, the sack of Troy is what has brought about, like, this new age of civilization.
Which is
right?
represented really well by those giants wearing
Yeah,
iron
yeah,
armor.
no, exactly. Like, they kind of represent, like, them looking into the future. That's the next age, the Iron Age. And they're, like, barbarian creatures that are just, like, attacking, and there's no
They
logic.
flip a boat with their hands.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that's what they did at the sack of Troy. That's like this aggressive barbarism with no sense and no logic, and they're seeing that kind of reflected back at them as this kind of vision of the future of this is where society and human civilization is going because we have violated Zeus's law. We have completely removed our ability to like have compassion for the people that we're just violently ransacking. And that theme is very contemporary because obviously that wasn't a thing they were thinking about 3,000 years
And
ago.
people have a problem with that, but I think that's a completely
so
fine.
effective, I think.
Yeah, it's so effective. And also the final line of the movie is that, we made these, I forget exactly what he says, but we made these mistakes and the future generations are going to forget that and they're going to make the same mistakes. And then you go into Oppenheimer where the same exact thing happens.
Right.
And then you go into Tenet where the same thing's happening like 20 years in the future.
Yeah.
And I saw someone point this out, like Tenet explores the same idea as the Odyssey and and Oppenheimer, but in an extremely abstract Nolan way, where you don't even know what the fuck is going on. Then he does Oppenheimer, which is more grounded, and it's about this specific guy. And then he goes all the way back to the story
Yeah.
that like spawned all the myths and stuff, to say the exact same thing. And I think that is really interesting. I assume it is intentional. I think it's very specific, this sort of story.
The kind of reverse chronological
Yeah.
thing of this like
Yeah.
weird trilogy.
It's a very Nolan way of telling this type of
Yeah.
thing, going in reverse,
That is
chronologically.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Tenet.
It is like Tenet.
Yeah.
Like people are
and that being the first one, that it kind of like establishes this narrative through line.
It's a palindrome. Oh, it's all a palindrome.
God.
But no, it is cool. And I just
Yeah.
love the whole sack of Troy thing. People have a problem like, oh, it's not consistent with Odysseus' character. He actually loved like pillaging people and stuff like that. He felt no regret.
That is true. That is true.
But like that story doesn't work in the modern age. It just doesn't work. You can't
Yeah.
make a movie where the main guy has no like growth or like reflection at all. It just doesn't work, I don't think.
Well, that's one of the interesting things about this movie that I still don't really know how I feel about this. Where on one hand, Nolan is taking this very contemporary approach of trying to look at the sins of Odysseus, but then at the same time, he is kind of washing the story of a lot of the really bad stuff that Odysseus did. Like, even in the movie Troy, like, the one thing I like about that scene is the Trojan horse scene. Because it's way more violent than in this movie.
The horse
where
looks fucking stupid. I've seen
it does look stupid,
Yeah.
but that scene is so violent in that movie. And even in the original book, like, Odysseus, he's constantly cheating on Penelope. Like, and that's something that 3,000 years ago, there's no sense of morality of like, oh, it's so fucked up that he's cheating on his wife.
Right.
That's just kind of accepted that, like,
Right.
yeah, he will do that. And things like when he returns to Ithaca, he kills all of the suitors, not just them, but like the women, the servants, the slaves.
Yeah.
He owns slaves. That's like not addressed in the movie. And it's these things that like they're so common at the time that there's no like morality attached to it. It's just it's accepted that of course he's the king of Ithaca. He's gonna have slaves. He's gonna cheat on his wife. But these are things that. Like, it makes sense that for a modern film protagonist, you have to kind of ignore that stuff so people can attach themselves to him. But the whole point, by the end of the movie, is to reflect on the bad things that he did. And so it feels weird to just kind of wash away all of this other bad stuff that you think is, like, too much for modern audiences, and I want him to lean into that a bit.
I feel like that's a fair point, but I feel like Nolan isn't saying like, oh, Odyssey shouldn't be killing all these people, huh? I feel like the whole Siege of Troy thing is that they invaded this city. And they do the same thing after Troy, by the way. They go into like some random village and they kill all the people there, right? I don't think he's saying like, oh, like Odysseus shouldn't be killing people for no reason. I think it's more that they go into Troy and it's just the amount of like depravity, right? Like they're like, cutting off the head of the statues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that is crossing a line. Like even for these people who like pillage, people and stuff like that, all these societies, kind of shaming their gods and like, destroying their culture and like spitting on like their, like their religion and stuff like that you're crossing a line, right? It's like, I feel like the philosophy that this movie has is like, oh, you're killing these people, you're stealing their food and stuff. That's one thing, but you're like, fucking, you can't, cut the heads off their gods and stuff. You can't like, spit on their religion and their culture. That's bad. And I think it is kind of saying that Odysseus realizes like, we are kind of crossing a line here. I don't think we need to be killing these civilians. I don't think we need to be like, desecrating their culture and stuff. It is one thing to like be robbing villages, but that is kind of crossing a line. And I think that's more like what the movie is trying to lean towards, I think there's this line, and like in war this always happens where you cross the line and it's just complete depravity, right? Like you're no morals, no boundaries, no nothing. It's the same thing like a gangster movie where they're like killing a bunch of people, but there is a code and you don't break that code. Oh, don't cheat on your wife, don't do that, right? There's like these things in war and like these with these people. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, but I feel like, I mean, because in the original story, Odysseus is doing horrible things even outside of that, like owning slaves, for example. And I feel like it's kind of a weird thing to ignore all of that in the movie, because then what is Nolan really saying by ignoring that? Like, is the point what you're saying that he is crossing a line with what he's doing? Because I don't think that's true. If you look at the original story, I don't think he is crossing a line. I think he's been doing this bad stuff the whole time. Right? And so if you're going to recontextualize the story to be about how, like, this is the moment they realized that they were, like, truly, like, crossing over into depravity, then I feel like it's weird to just accept that premise without interrogating kind of the history of what they've been doing the whole time.
And like, I think it's always interesting seeing kind of modern adaptations of these, like, older texts. Like, I've read my fair share of, like, not as old as this, but like pretty old, like, like 500s, 1500s, right? And it's extremely violent. The most violent. Like, there's literally a book that I read where, I'm not kidding, for 200 pages straight, it's just, oh, we're gonna send this man to go fight this guy and he dies. And like, I'm not kidding, if you count the like body count in that book, it's literally like so high. It's just a bunch of pages just killing with very like gruesome details. It's like not something you'd expect. And so I can imagine it's difficult to kind of translate that into a more like modern adaptation without, I guess, I don't know, because even now, like as I was reading it, knowing that it's like from like ages ago, it's still like, God damn, that's a lot of death. Okay, but I feel like it does take something away if you don't include that stuff.
Right.
Because, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense for him to just be like, oh, he was like fine and like nice and stuff, but then he did this one thing, and then it's like,
right.
oh,
If the goal is to interrogate that part of history, then you have to do it in a comprehensive way that interrogates the whole of what he's doing.
I'm not familiar with Odysseus's like character arc in the original story. I don't even know if he really has one, or if he gets to like some sort of. I have no idea. So
I could be wrong. I think they don't go into exile. I think he just comes back and then rules Ithaca again.
But like, does the poem get into like, oh, this is how I feels about this? Does it do that?
I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
Okay.
Because I do know that in the Emily Wilson translation, it begins with the line...
Which is what this movie is based on.
Right. And it begins with the line, like, let me tell you the story of a complicated man, or something like that. And so I think she is kind of taking this approach of, like, how he's a complicated figure who is maybe conflicted in some ways. I don't know exactly. I haven't read it.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe that's an element.
I feel like... I wonder... Okay, this is not a fleshed out thought at all, but... I don't know. The whole slaves thing and cheating on your wife, like, that's, just accepted back then, and it's not accepted now. And I wonder if... I don't know. I was going to say that I wonder if, like, him omitting that from the movie is so that you can focus more on this sort of moral conflict he has in his head and ignore these slaves and, all the cheating, which is just inherent, like, bad in our culture, right? I wonder, because if you saw that, then you'd be like, oh, wait, Odysseus, I don't like him because he has slaves. When back then, everybody has slaves, so, like, who cares?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But, I mean, I feel like it's also, like, well...
Because, no, if you include the fact that he has slaves, then you're kind of critiquing that entire, like, time. That you're critiquing all of that century, And I feel like that's not what he's trying to do with the movie. He's not saying like, hey, we're in the olden days really bad because we had slaves. I don't think that's what he's trying to do. He's talking about Odysseus' character.
But then is what he's trying to say that, like, Odysseus, like, as a singular figure is responsible for everything that's happening? That it has nothing to do with, like, the barbarism of the time, but it has to do with, like, the idea of him being...
Odysseus isn't responsible. That's the whole thing. That's what I think, what's his name? Agamemnon? I think that's what he represents too. I feel like this is the same story that he told with Tenet and with Oppenheimer, where Oppenheimer, there's that scene where he's like, President, I feel like I have blood on my hands. And the president tells him, no one cares that you made the bomb. I'm the one who dropped the bomb. I'm the one who should feel responsible. Don't cry about this shit. And he tells him to get out of his office. I feel like the movies are about like men who think that they're a lot more important than they actually are, and thinking they're responsible for all these things, when in a way they are, but also not really. Yeah. And I feel like Odysseus, it's so funny because Odysseus is like, oh, I feel really guilty about this and, it was my idea and stuff. But the person actually leading the charge is Agamemnon, who has his own, like, character and stuff like that we can get into. But, like, I think that is one element of it. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to, like, justify it, like, in real time.
Because I feel like it's also with the whole entire, like, Trojan horse, like, other than his own kind of, like, guilt afterwards, nobody... at least in his, like, like with his men and everybody, nobody was upset with him or like thought that it was like it crossed a moral ground besides his own morals, right? Well, and so it's kind of the same thing of like, oh yeah, having slaves or cheating on your wife was like normalized at the time.
But and that wasn't, though. I think that's the whole thing. I think he's just saying that you shouldn't trick people because it's breaking Zeus's law. And I think, like, trapping people with the appearance of, like, a gift is, like, really fucked up,
Yeah, but owning slaves isn't.
No, but, like, that's the thing.
I agree with Usman in the sense that it was, like, a norm back in that day.
Everyone else
if you, like, focus on that
saying.
stuff, then it takes away from the main art that he goes
No, but
through.
I'm saying the whole point of what Nolan is doing is he's taking this contemporary approach and thinking about the sack of Troy in a way that they wouldn't have thought about it in the original text.
Right.
That's the whole point. And I feel like when he is like exercising all of the other stuff that's going on, it's this weird tension where do you want to criticize what they were doing or do you want to sanitize it for a modern audience? But I think the movie is kind of almost about this because the movie opens with Travis Scott he's telling the story of Odysseus and he's describing him as like this brave guy and he defeated Troy. And so the movie kind of is about the idea of mythologizing these people as heroes and ignoring all the bad stuff. Because when they're describing Troy, they're not describing like how they're raping and pillaging like all these people and killing civilians. They're talking about it as he's this hero and he defeated, the bad guys. Yeah. And I feel like the movie is kind of about the way we mythologize history,
Right.
and acknowledging the idea that when you tell these kinds of stories, even in cinema, when you're making a movie about these people, part of what you have to do when making a movie is making a compelling protagonist for people to like really buy into the story.
Right.
And so he's kind of in a way like showing that.
It's kind of the thing where, like, you know, when people read something and there's an aspect of the book that wasn't intentional, like, by the author, or like maybe just the way that, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. You know, of course, the proper, like, intentional, you know, I guess, theory that is used for that is like a feminist theory, right? It's about, that's what Margaret Atwood intended. But there's a lot of people who also say, this book is actually also pretty, I think, Islamophobic. A lot of people look at it from that lens, and that's not something that Margaret Atwood intended in any way, but it just shows through kind of the way that she presents it, and that kind of just appears out of nowhere. Right. And that's not something intentional, but I feel like that's something that he could have used, right? Where it's like, sure, this was normalized at the time, but I feel like the fact that was normalized still adds to, like, Odysseus's character.
Does it though? How?
I mean, it just shows, like, I understand what Alex says.
Here's
about
Odysseus,
wanting to...
Here, he owned slaves and he cheated on his wives. By the way, these are accepted things, so don't worry about it. You're gonna worry. You're gonna be like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. We shouldn't do that. Yeah. Then you're looking at him through that lens. And why does that matter? Because that's not what the story's about. The story is about him,
like, I understand if he I understand that he wants to create, like...
Look, it's like writing a story now. And, like, you know, writing about how you feel and writing about the things around us. And I'm sure there's something that we do, something in this world that's not gonna be socially acceptable in, like, 100 years from now. And when people read it, they're going to be like, oh, well, that's fucked up, they shouldn't do that, when that's not what the intention of the story is.
But you shouldn't ignore that those things are happening.
Yeah.
How does that add to the story or the character? That's going to deviate your view from what the story is actually about.
Because that's what happened. That's what the book is.
That's not what happened, though.
I can see both sides of this.
I see both sides, but it's just that, look, okay, unless the slaves have a really big part in the story, and I don't know, then fair enough.
I mean, I haven't read it, but from what I understand, that's not just subtext, it's pretty significant.
Okay, sure, but like from what I understand, it's just like, oh, he owned slaves, and then he went back, and then he killed slaves and stuff, oh, he cheated on his wife. But when these things back then didn't really mean anything, didn't really matter, oh, you cheated on his wife, who gives a fuck? Then why?
Okay, but the reason why it's significant is because Nolan is going out of his way to apply a contemporary lens to the story. He's thinking about the sack of Troy in a way that wasn't thought about in the original text. He's going out of his way to approach it in a modern point of view. And if you're gonna do that, and I'm not saying that this is like a huge flaw with the movie. I'm just saying it's an interesting tension between what he decides to retroactively think about as being evil and what he decides to just ignore from the story because he doesn't want to even think about addressing it.
Sure, but okay, look, first of all, this is kind of Nolan's version of the Odyssey, right? Yeah. That's one thing. But also, how would you feel if, you know, if he slept with Cersei, and then they showed him sleeping with Calypso, and then at the end he sails away with Penelope? You'd feel weird about it. You'd be like, well, this guy just cheated on her with like 2 different women and stuff like that. But in the actual story, I don't think that mattered at all. And like, you can make an argument.
But that's what he was doing. That's the thing. And
that also creates a different tension for you as the viewer.
But also, from my understanding, I don't think that the whole point of the Odyssey was like he has to get back home for his wife. Like, I think like he loves Penelope, but the point is he wants to get back to rule Ithaca.
Yeah.
And it's more so like, you know, I'm doing it by my wife's side, but he's not loyal to Penelope specifically, but he expects loyalty from her. And when he goes back to Ithaca, he doesn't just kill the suitors, he kills everyone that he thought was unloyal to him, that didn't believe that he would come back and rule Ithaca again. And that is such a significant part of the story. And it's one thing to ignore that and not bring that into his adaptation. If he wants to do a different story with this, that's fine. But again, like the weird tension for me is what he decides to really focus on is in this kind of critical way of analyzing in a modern lens what Odysseus did wrong and what he thinks just shouldn't be a factor in this because it's too unsanitary for modern
like,
audiences.
I think
it's an interesting argument. I feel like in the original Odyssey story where he kills everyone, I feel like back then, I don't know, like maybe people didn't view that as like a crazy bad thing. They'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool. Odysseus killed everyone and now he rules the kingdom. Ooh, let's go. Like it's like a superhero story. But now we would view it in a different way. And I guess goes into that whole thing of like death of the author and like, you know, how stories change from generation to generation. But the best I can justify is that this is not the story that Nolan wanted to tell.
I understand why he would want to kind of remove this, because like if his intention is to make like a main character that people can kind of see themselves through, like I understand you don't want to make him like terribly bad or like somebody that's kind of like irredeemable in a way. But I think despite the fact that sure, like these things were normalized back then, I still think that that's an important aspect of it. Like it's like just because something was normalized back then doesn't mean that what those things represent like value wise don't matter to the characters.
Do they though?
I think that they do.
When you talk about
the whole story.
Yeah.
When you talk about something like The Handmaid's Tale and you say it's like Islamophobic and stuff, how does that, again, I haven't read this, so it's hard for me to comment on this, but like how does that add to like any character? I feel like that doesn't...
Because that is the worldview that's being espoused by the original story.
But that doesn't change like the character. Does it?
That's the entire lens that the story is viewed through.
Exactly.
It's the worldview of the author. And I feel like you can either like adopt the worldview or you can critique it. And I feel like just ignoring it and pretending it doesn't exist when you're also like interrogating it in other ways creates a weird contradiction.
He could have, and like, because like I said, I don't think anybody's looking at this thinking, hey, this is the exact same time as like now. Of course not. No. But I feel like he could have used that in a more, like in a more critical way, of a way of critiquing it while adding to Odysseus's character. Because clearly it is an important part of the regular story.
I feel like if I have certain beliefs that 50 years from now will not be like socially acceptable and they're like, oh no, you shouldn't think that way, that's like bad. If I have those beliefs, how does that change, like, you know, like me as like does that change?
Because if you wrote a story about yourself now, and your current beliefs are reflected in the text, then 50 years from now, if that's no longer socially acceptable, they have to reckon with the fact that your worldview shapes the way that the story is told. It's the very fabric of the story itself is shaped by your worldview. Okay. And if that worldview is no longer acceptable, then that future work shouldn't just ignore that. It should reckon with it.
But aren't you in a way doing like a disservice to the story I wrote then?
Then adapt it as it is. Do one or the other.
Yeah.
What do you feel, Avery?
I feel like for this movie, all that would do is just like add a bit to the environment, not necessarily to the character itself. In my opinion.
Again, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I don't know if the slaves are a big part of the movie, but to me, it would just be like, oh, look, Odysseus has slaves. That's cool.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I don't know. Yeah, because I haven't read the book. I don't know anything about Greek myth, so it's just the movie that I'm criticizing. I feel like it would maybe enhance the environment or enhance the world or the atmosphere, but I don't think it would improve the story or the arcs or the characterization. I understand your point of view.
How do you think the movie would change?
I don't think it would. Yeah.
I think it goes beyond atmosphere. I think because I wouldn't complain about this in like, you know, there's like a 50s version or something and a 90s version. In those movies, I don't think I would have an issue with it. And it's not even a huge issue in this one either. It's just interesting because Nolan is more actively critical, and it's just interesting to me to think about what he's being critical of and what he isn't being critical of.
How would Odysseus' character change if he included all of that stuff, like the slaves or cheating on his wife and stuff? What would your takeaway be?
It's not just about his character. It's about what is being expressed by the ending of the movie. Right, the whole movie.
What's being expressed by the ending of the movie is the whole thing about posterity. It's about like the collapse of society and stuff like that, and how our mistakes, blah blah blah.
But don't you think it's interesting to think about how the things that they're critical of with regards to the sack of Troy are things that are just baked into their society to begin with?
But they're not though. Because they desecrate the gods, they desecrate the culture. That's not a good thing. That's not a socially... They broke Zeus's law. That's not a socially acceptable thing, even back then.
But it's more than just Zeus's law.
That's one of the main threads of the story, right? It's the fact that, oh, here's this gift. Anyway, we're going to kill your entire city now.
No, but the whole point of Zeus's law is that you shouldn't... You should treat people
the way you want to be treated.
No, you should treat people the way that you would expect a god to be treated.
And
because
they don't do
anyone
that.
could be a god in disguise.
And they don't do
That's the
that.
whole point.
Right.
When he kills Zendaya at the end, the whole point is that like she is Athena or she represents Athena. So it represents the violation of Zeus's law. Of he's killing this innocent person that could be this god Athena. Yeah. It's a representation of violating Zeus's law. But they're not applying that to the fact that they own slaves. They wouldn't treat gods as slaves, so that's a contradiction.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting contradiction. And I wish the movie had explored that, because I'm not saying it's a problem that it doesn't, but it would just add so much more if it really interrogated that beyond just kind of this surface level allusion to Zeus's law. Like really go deep into it. That would make this movie so much better.
Just because the values represent more like the time that they're living in than the person themselves doesn't mean that it doesn't like affect them at all. And I feel like that is an interesting contradiction there.
Okay, that is interesting actually. Now that you put it that way. Okay, sure. But
Lord. And this is such like a side comment too. Like I don't think it didn't. I mean, it didn't have
I feel
that
like
much
the story
of an impact
is
on me. But it's an interesting idea.
Like, I don't
the fact
think
that
any
you
of
removed
this.
it.
I don't think any of this like affects my rating of the movie.
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, this is what the movie's about, so I think it's an interesting conversation to have. Sure. And I do think ultimately, like I said, I think it's justified in the sense that the movie kind of is about the process of mythologizing and myth-making. Yeah. And so I feel like Nolan is aware of that inherent limitation, and he's aware of the limitation of cinema itself. Like, he knows that he has to sanitize the story to appeal to modern audiences. That isn't like a mistake. That isn't something that he just like didn't think about. I think he is thinking about it. The movie is thinking about that, and that's interesting. And the fact that there's a contradiction, that's true, and that's not an issue with that movie, the fact that there's that contradiction. But I feel like the act of being like self-reflexive about it is what makes that movie interesting, and it's what makes the Odyssey interesting. It just doesn't go quite far enough for me to be like, wow, this is a masterpiece. Like, it's done effectively enough. But I've seen other movies like Killers of the Flower Moon that are so much more effective at making that point.
Yeah, that's really good.
That movie's so good.
It's so good.
It's like
that Killers' ending is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Scorsese himself saying, "This is the best I could do."
These are the inherent limitations of cinema as an art form.
To the point where the director of the film has to stand here and tell you,
"Yeah,
come on." Yeah.
No, but it's like well, like I said, this doesn't affect my rating at all, but it is interesting because it's like the type of thing where like, I don't know, like the Handmaid's Tale, you know, it has these like feminist reading. That's like the intentional like of the author. The intention of the author was to create, you know, like a feminist story. But then just because there are these kind of like, you know, Islamophobic aspects of it, does that mean that, like, I don't know, if say somebody were to adapt it, like they adapted it into like a series, right?
Show,
It's
and
like
there's a movie too, I think.
There is a movie.
Oh yeah. But it's like I don't think that they should just remove that. Like I understand if they're prioritizing, I guess, like clearly Nolan had a certain like idea in mind of like what the story is supposed to tell, but I think it's a lot more interesting if you add those aspects that are kind of like that go against your, I guess, the vision that you're looking for.
Sure.
Because it's like
very true.
if you really wanted to create, if you had a certain vision for the, I don't know, the story that you want to tell or like the message you want to send, I don't know if you should be doing like just a straight adaptation of something, you know, like it's like I feel like it's a lot more interesting to include all of those aspects and like, you know, critique them or, you know, like play around with them rather than just remove them. But it doesn't change my rating at all.
I
it's
think
just
that's an interesting point. And bringing my own experience here, one of the things they teach you in grad school is that if you're writing a thesis and you find something that contradicts your thesis, don't just ignore it. And don't like shape it so that like it can fit your thesis. Like acknowledge the limitation and acknowledge the fact that you're introducing information that goes against what you're trying to say and interrogate that and like be open about the weaknesses in what you're doing. And if Nolan feels that there's a certain aspect of the story that goes against the film he's trying to make, I don't think you should ignore it. I think you should like interrogate that fact.
That's fair. But like, have you guys seen that Hades sequence? Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
God.
We didn't really get into like Agamemnon, but like I think his character is really interesting.
You know what's so funny is I knew that he was Benny Safdie, but I forgot when I was watching the movie until that shot where he takes his helmet off and you see the back of his head.
Could tell.
And I'm like, oh, that's Benny Safdie.
I'm so glad
the shape of the back of his head.
I'm so glad they didn't show his face because it serves the story about like you don't show the guy's face, but also because Benny Safdie has the most like innocent, like fun face, and it would take away any mystique like the character has.
You know what we're talking about?
No,
Agamemnon, he's the one with like the black armor.
The
he's
giant dark armor guy. They made him. He has the golden spine on his helmet.
Yeah.
Right. That's Benny Safdie, one of the Safdie brothers.
Director of Marty
he's a director. He's one of the directors of Uncut Gems and
the
Good
Smashing
Time.
Machine.
Yes, he did direct that Smashing
That's
Machine.
true. And he voices Bowser Jr.
He's also in Happy Gilmore too.
He's in so much random
He's
bullshit.
also in The Curse with Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone.
Huh.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great.
He's in Oppenheimer?
He is also in Oppenheimer.
He's an Oppenheimer.
That's cool.
He's the guy he paints his face like silver at the Trinity test.
Everyone does.
You wouldn't remember.
And then he's like, until somebody builds a bigger bomb. He says
that's
That's a
true.
good line.
I like that one tweet where until someone writes a blanker check.
Oh, his next movie is gonna be. I don't even.
What else do you do after this?
I think ideally you go small again. I think you do like a Memento or like a Prestige again.
Mm.
Or he does his like Obsession because he really likes Obsession. Apparently.
Yeah. There was a rumor that he was gonna do a Blue Thunder remake. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
No, I'm still waiting for his helicopter movie. I think
it would be that one. I haven't seen Blue Thunder, but I think there's like a helicopter in that.
Yeah.
I think so.
But this was supposed to be his helicopter movie.
This was, yeah.
I love the posters for the helicopter movie.
Yeah, because they announced the cast before they announced it was the Odyssey, and there was a rumor he was doing a helicopter movie. And so there's posters of just like Matt Damon and Tom Holland in a helicopter.
That's so
helicopter
funny.
movie.
But no, I mean, in like, I don't know, he said like 5 years or something, we'll see another Nolan movie.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, he does them pretty fast. Like, there's like a consistent 2 to 3 year gap between.
This was really fast.
Yeah.
After
Oppenheimer, yeah.
Also,
especially for how big it is, I was like, geez.
We didn't talk about this, but like the making of this movie is fucking insane.
Oh yeah.
Like Nolan is all about, I want to do it practically, and like the stories I've heard, like they're actually inside the fucking Trojan horse with this giant IMAX camera.
And I saw in an interview, he was like, he didn't have any shots planned for that. They were just like, put a camera in there, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
They're making it like an indie movie.
Right. I saw Matt Damon say it like the day before. He's like, oh, Nolan, how are we going to shoot like, the Trojan horse? He's like, I don't know, let me think about it. And then on the day, he's like, let's just go inside the horse and let's just see what happens. He's like, okay, well, I can't breathe in there.
Yeah.
He's like, that's fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they have that like indie sensibility, but also like just the complete innovation of what they were doing at the same time.
Yeah.
Like all the IMAX shit.
It's
like
unbelievable.
This is the first movie ever to be entirely shot with IMAX cameras.
Every frame in IMAX.
Which is a big deal.
Is that okay?
Because IMAX cameras are like insanely loud. Like you can't even like hear anything.
It's so big.
And so you can only use them for action scenes, which is why like no movies have been done entirely in IMAX. Okay. And so they had to create this whole blimping system, which is this gigantic box that muffles all the sound. And the box is so big that if two people are in a scene talking to each other, like they can't see each other because it's so big. So they had to have this mirror system, so they're looking in a mirror to see the eye lines.
It's
so funny, yeah.
It's like unbelievable. And
crazy.
He does. People say that Nolan does direct all his movies like an indie film because he doesn't have like a video village or anything. It's just like, let's just shoot everything like on camera. And yeah, it's insane. Like the stories I've heard, like it's insanely hard to make this movie. Like I've seen people are comparing it to like I don't know, like an Apocalypse Now or like a Fitzcarraldo or something. And it's just, I love those types of stories, and it shows in this movie. It's all on the screen, like you can tell.
That is true.
And the Cyclops is like practical.
Yeah,
like somebody's puppeteering that Cyclops.
The pig transformation is practical.
Right.
I don't know how that happens.
How the fuck do you do that? That's and like people, like the actors were saying, yeah, we saw that like happen in person, and I don't know how he did that. Like we saw it happen, but I don't know how he did that.
That's crazy.
No, it's insane.
Yeah.
There's like no visual effect shots in this movie.
I'm sure there's some.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
some. But
I assume the whirlpool is one. I don't know.
That is.
I don't think that's possible.
Wasn't it like they had like two guys on like jet skis like going around so that they could
That's
see
right, I did hear about
around
that.
where it is,
really?
and then they added it in after.
Interesting.
I assume that the monster, I forget what it, like Scylla, I think.
Scylla.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that
I
grabs
assume
him.
that has to be CGI.
I hope so.
There's no way that wasn't.
But no, it's insane. And you know, Matt Damon was saying like, "Oh, we were filming on this like boat in the middle of the ocean, and like they had fire hoses strapped to the sides of the boat, and they were spraying like fucking insane amounts of water on them." And Matt Damon was like, "I was having a bad time," but then I turned to my right, and Nolan's standing right next to him, drenched in water, holding this giant IMAX camera, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? This is fun."
That's great.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just insane the fact like how this was made. Like I think there's like a 20-minute like documentary. I haven't seen it, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I have to see that at some point.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an impossible movie to make, but they did it.
Yeah,
It's
They
somehow.
somehow did it.
Final ratings, people, Avery.
I have it as a 7. I liked it.
That's good. That's honestly a lot more than I thought it was going to
That's a decent rating.
Yeah.
Sure.
You didn't fall asleep during the movie?
No, but I had a big headache.
She did have a big headache. And I offered her Advil, and she was like, I don't believe in that shit.
You don't believe in Advil?
No.
I don't... Whatever.
You would love RFK Jr., I think.
Yeah,
Also.
she'd be a big fan of that guy.
I don't... Whatever, Alex.
Well, I gave the movie an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I don't know. I really like. I had a lot of fun watching it. Like, I agree that seeing a Nolan movie in the theater is just an incredible experience.
It's so good.
It's so good. There's just things that kind of bothered me about it. Like, I really do feel it moves too fast. I feel like that's the biggest issue. And I love a lot of the performances, but Tom Holland just really, like, and it's more so just a symptom of what the bigger problem is of how fast it's moving.
I think Tom Holland, people have said this, he's giving an amazing performance. He's just unfortunately standing next to Robert Pattinson and Matt Damon. And there's not much you can do.
That is true.
You know, so, yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, otherwise, I think it's...
Also, Anne Hathaway is fantastic.
I was just about to say, she's amazing.
So
she's so good in this.
I think somehow John Leguizamo gave one of the best performances.
He is really good, too,
He's so good. He's the blind guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have this at a 10. I'm gonna be honest. Probably if I rewatched it, it might go down. But for now, like it's like movie. Whoa.
Yeah.
Like it's like when you guys are like, but they exploded the building. Like that's kind of how I feel. And like
when Bane blew up the
airplane,
it was so sick.
Cool. I don't know.
That's a cool ass sequence though. The plane's like this. Oh
yeah, it's so good.
Like
so
just, good. I was just like mesmerized. It looks so beautiful. I feel like the writing was a lot better than his other stuff.
Nolan's improved in his writing like a lot over the years.
Yeah,
you can
I just feel like this one's a step back.
Yeah,
I really don't think.
I think Oppenheimer's good because that's the movie. It works for that movie. It's a movie that calls for like that type of writing.
You can have exposition because they're on trial, like expositing dialogue.
Exactly.
Like, it makes sense with that movie.
That's fair. I don't know. I love this movie. This was really good.
Nolan has an exposition problem, but like
we talked about that with Interstellar. Like, there's so many scenes where they're just explaining things because Nolan wants it to be clear that he understands the science. It's not about making you understand. It's about, like, him showing off that he gets it. And that's kind of the issue.
It's so in Tenet, I rewatched Tenet recently, and the Tenet, there's that famous line of like, oh, don't try to understand it, just feel it. But then the entire movie, he's trying to make you understand it. He's like, oh, by the way, this is exactly what's happening. And you're like, okay, but I'm just trying to like feel my way through the movie. He's like, no. Listen, this is how it goes. But then there's also scenes at the same time where the score is so fucking loud, you can't hear what they're saying. So, I don't know, it's weird. This movie, it has a bunch of flaws, and I think the writing could be better. But when he strings that bow, and he... come on, man. Like, the score, it's a 10. I'm sorry, it's a 10. I'm going to rewatch it again. I'm going to write about it and stuff. It's going to be great. I love this movie. Matt Damon, shout out. Matt Damon is...
so good, though, when he strings the bow.
It's so good. It's like an epic hero moment, you know? You know, he's stringing the bow.
The axes.
Right, exactly.
Like the TSG logo.
True.
Wow.
People have different interpretations of that too. Some people say there's a hole in the actual like axe. Some people say it's between the axe.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt Damon, by the way, this made me realize how great of an actor Matt Damon is, just like looking back on his catalog. I feel like for a long time for me, Matt Damon was like, oh, it's Matt Damon, who cares, you know, that type of thing. But like Good Will Hunting, The Departed,
I think he's great.
The Bourne movies. He's such a great actor, and I think in this he's giving it an incredible performance. Robert Pattinson's also great. I like how he turned the word beggars into like a slur. That's pretty cool. The way he's
so good at this.
Somebody get these beggars out of here. It's like, okay, saying it with such emphasis. It's kind of crazy.
It's so good. I like the whole bit when he's like, cut off his nose. And they're like, are you sure that they'll recognize him from just his nose? He's like, his ears too.
And then at the end, he's like, oh, get the spear.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, get the sword.
Just like hiding behind like the little like pole.
Also, Mia Goth is in this movie for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
A lot of famous people are in this for 2 seconds.
Yeah. My flaws still, Calypso could have been done a lot better, the writing, blah, 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 but it's a 10.
Would you both, given that you both gave it a 10 out of 10, would you say it's your favorite movie of the year so far?
Oh, yeah.
I think
Really?
so.
Yeah. I think it's this, Nirvana's Band, and then Blue Heron.
I have both of those above this.
Really?
Yeah.
What is your top 3?
Is this Nirvana the band, and then Blue Heron, and then the Odyssey.
Okay.
And I think those first 2 will stay that way.
Really?
Because just looking ahead, like there's other movies coming out I'm excited for.
Spider-Man. Hunger Games!
No.
Dune Part 3!
I'm excited for Dune 3. I don't
Digger?
think either of those will be as good.
God.
Digger
Oh
is
my
not.
god. We saw the trailer for fucking Digger.
It's great.
I could tell you the plot
I'm
of that
not.
movie.
I also that's
You
my
couldn't
first
tell
time.
you?
I could.
Oh.
It's every Tom Cruise movie.
It's not.
It
No,
is.
not.
I was gonna say I have
couldn't
no
tell you
clue
the
what
plot
the
of the
fuck that
movie.
movie's gonna be
I
about.
told Alex
I'm not
the plot
that
of
hyped for it.
movie.
I'm sorry.
It's gonna be great.
That was my first time seeing the trailer because I just kind of skimmed through it when it was online. I don't think it looks great.
It looks fine.
I agree completely. I'm like,
It looks
I don't
perfectly
know.
fine. I think once you see the entire
fine.
movie, it's gonna be great. Tom Cruise is
maybe.
great. Tom Cruise is a great actor.
I don't think that's going to be one of my favorites of the year.
No.
If
I don't
Tom
know what else could
Cruise-
come out that would.
I feel like you
Yes.
haven't seen any real Tom Cruise performances.
I've seen all the Mission Impossible.
Those are
ones.
not real
You
performances.
made me watch Eyes Wide Shut.
That's a real, but his
That's
realest
awful.
performance and one of I think the best, like up there, Magnolia.
Yeah.
He's so good in Magnolia.
Well,
Haven't
I have
seen
not.
He's
seen
also
that
great
one.
in,
I've seen what's it called, The Outsiders. You've seen that.
Oh, true.
I've seen.
there's another
Top
movie he's really good in, I
Gun
forget.
movie. I've seen the Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow.
These are all his like action movies where he just wants to do.
That's
cool
all he
stunts.
does.
No,
that's
but
all he
that's,
does.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's not true because he's done Magnolia.
Digger's not an action movie.
Digger's
It's
not an
going
action
to
movie.
be.
Magnolia.
No, it's not.
It's
not.
no. He's look at him. He's fucking insane looking.
Yeah, he's an ex.
What do you think he's gonna do? What action do you think he's gonna be
Just
doing
wait.
in the movie?
I gave Alex my synopsis of that movie. We'll see if it's accurate.
You have a
or
complete
not.
misunderstanding of Tom Cruise because you've only seen his action movies.
I've just said I saw Eyes Wide Shut and The Outsiders.
And that should show you that he used to be a dramatic actor too.
I've seen what was that movie I saw? Days of Thunder.
That's also another like fake like racing movie.
Well, that's all he does. That's
not-
all he
that's
does.
what I'm
I just listed like 15 movies.
And I'm telling you, that's not all he does. He
That's
just
all
has a
he
lot
does.
of movies.
That's literally like
He's worked with so many great directors. He's worked with fucking Kubrick. That's insane. He's worked with
Yeah.
Kubrick. He's worked with Scorsese. He's worked with Coppola. He's worked with
these names mean nothing to me. I'm sorry.
You've seen movies from all of these guys.
Every single person I just named, you've seen multiple movies from.
Well,
That's crazy.
Listen.
Okay, well,
But yeah.
I'll do anything as long
sure
as he
it'll be
doesn't
fine.
get an
It'll be
Oscar.
fine.
I'm Team Matt Damon for Oscar because fuck Timmy
I'm Team
and
Pedro
fuck.
Pascal.
Okay, I'm fine with Pedro Pascal
For
as well.
what?
Behemoth. That's my most
The
anticipated movie
Tony
of the
Gilroy
year.
movie?
Yeah, it's gonna be so
Tony
good.
Gilroy makes fake movies, and I don't
He made
get weird-
Andor.
So
He's the
He made
weird.
guy.
Andor.
He also made-
Team
what's-
Pedro Pascal.
What's the name of this movie?
Dude, Ava Victor's in it. Olivia Wilde is
I
in
know.
it.
Olivia
Wilde.
Wilde.
Ava Victor. Yes.
It's gonna
I
be
love
so
Ava
good.
Victor.
Olivia
Oscar.
Wilde's good. Oh, the invites. That's
You still
probably
need
gonna-
to see Sorry Baby
Oh yeah, I do.
because
need to.
Ava Victor.
Tony
mentioned-
Gilroy did the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Legacy.
Those
Sorry,
are
He
the-
wrote
That's
all of the
good
Bourne
movie.
movies.
That's
He
not
only
good.
I
directed
like
that
those
one.
movies. Those are good.
the Jeremy Renner Bourne movie
Oh,
fucking
God.
sucks.
Hey, don't hate on Jeremy
I
Renner.
wish there was an app we could talk about this.
I
with.
wish,
Yeah,
if
I
only.
wish. If only.
He makes
Guys,
fake. I can't believe this.
I
Fucking
love
Michael Clayton.
Jeremy
Michael
Renner.
Clayton's good.
No, it's not.
He got a Best Director nomination.
All right, have
for
we
it.
all said our ratings? You gave
Yeah.
it a 10?
Yeah, I gave it a 10.
All right. So people, Sam, I'm passing it
Yes.
to you now because Sam has some stats for
Yeah.
everyone. This will
So,
be instead of connect.
This is our season 1 and season 2 reeled in wrapped.
Whoa!
So basically I calculated a bunch of like averages and stuff, some stats, because I thought it would be fun, of just like how we rank things, you know, who's the nicest, who's the meanest. which other person's
I'm
pick
definitely
do
not
we
the
like
nicest.
the most, and stuff like that. There are some that are surprising, some that are less surprising.
Okay.
There's a few like stuff, but I don't like little, episodes that I didn't count, like stuff where we only did like this doesn't count. Of course, we just did our rankings now, but there's a few other episodes that like I didn't count towards just because we only did one movie, or we did like multiple Marty Supreme, like our Knives Out, our Oscar predictions, and then anytime we did group picks. I didn't associate them to any certain person. So, like, when we did One Battle After Another and Gabby's Dollhouse, I didn't automatically put Gabby's Dollhouse with Avery just because that was, like, the Avery
that
pick
was Alex's
of the...
pick.
Yeah, totally. I should have counted that as yours. But, yeah. And then also, one other thing that I want to note before we get into this is that Avery obviously has a lot more picks that she's given us than the rest of us. Therefore, that might reflect,
my data is more accurate.
I guess,
sample size.
Yeah.
That's true.
So just keep that in mind as we go through.
You guys,
the first thing we have is the episode average ranking. So what's the episode that you guys think across both movies that we rated both of them like the highest?
I'm gonna have to.
Both movies.
Both movies.
Hold on.
I have
wanna
two.
Have a good guess.
I have two guesses.
I don't remember.
I can give like a top three.
I have two
No,
guesses.
hold on.
It's either gonna be Godfather 1 and Toy Story 1, or it's gonna be Uptown Girls and oh my god, what's the name of it?
Voice.
A Silent
I
Voice.
think you're spot on.
Yeah.
Because with Godfather 2 and 3, with the Godfather 2 one, you rated that very low, and Godfather 3, we rated that really low. But Godfather 1, Toy Story 1, we both gave
pretty high rating.
Like you gave Godfather 1 a 6, but that's still like pretty good.
I think it's gonna be either that or A Silent Voice and Uptown Girls.
That's what she said as
That's
well.
what I just said.
Yeah,
so those are your guesses?
It might be that one. Yeah.
All right, go.
Well, you guys are spot on. Number 3, we have a tie in between The Godfather Part 2 and Toy Story 2, and Do the Right Thing and Booksmart, both with an average of 8.125.
Even with her giving Godfather 2
I think
2 out of
because we gave it a
well, it's
really
because
high
you guys
rating.
all were like,
also Toy Story 2. That's like
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
In second place, we have The Godfather and Toy Story at 8.375. And then actually a decent bit higher than that, at number 1, we have A Silent Voice and Uptown Girls with a score of 8.75.
That makes sense. Because the lowest rating was like a 7 or an 8.
Because that's the one movie of mine you all like.
Yeah. This is what I was surprised about. What episode do you guys think that across both movies we rated the lowest?
I think I have a good guess. I think it might be Eyes Wide Shut and The Kissing Booth.
Yeah.
I actually don't think so. What's
Maybe
a movie
actually,
I hated?
I don't think many of us gave Eyes Wide Shut like a super high rating.
You gave it like a 9?
I think I gave it a 9.
You didn't
I gave
include
it
a
a
Sears
10
and
probably.
Velocipaster?
Sorry?
You didn't include Velocipaster in these?
I did, but I just, because both of you guys didn't rate it, it's only the average in between me and Alex.
I have a guess of a middling one. I think Misery and The Thinning. Because none of us were too big on the Misery.
That's
and
true.
The Thinning's The Thinning.
Yeah, it might be Misery and The
I
Thinning.
actually
Misery
think,
and
hold
Thinning
on,
might
hold
be the
on.
one. Blue Velvet. What did you give Blue Velvet? What did
It
you
might
give
be
Blue Velvet?
Arrival.
I don't remember.
Because were you guys big on that one?
Arrival, I think I gave
was,
an
though.
8 to.
I think we all gave a high rating to Abduction,
Okay.
to Arrival.
Well,
I gave Arrival like a 10, I think.
You
and
guys...
even you really liked it.
Okay, that's
Everyone
true.
liked Arrival.
I don't know.
I wonder if it's Blue
I actually
Velvet
don't know.
as well.
Are you ready?
Okay, go ahead.
I'll do a bottom 3.
Sure.
So in third to last place, you almost mentioned it. It was Challengers and Twilight.
Really?
At
Really?
6.205. I think the reason why was because, Avery, you didn't rate it. So it was the average in between the 3 of us.
Which was what?
Which was not very good.
Obviously.
So Challengers, despite the fact
What
that we
about
rated it
Kiana's
pretty
rating?
high, I didn't count any of the guest
Okay,
ratings because it would have just made it more confusing.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
guess that's true.
In second to last place, we have Misery and the Thinning
Yeah.
Okay.
that makes sense.
at a 5.625.
Yeah.
And then the lowest is Eyes Wide Shut and The Kissing
yeah,
Booth
that makes sense.
Yeah.
at 5.125.
Kissing Booth, I think
Okay.
I gave it half a star. I don't know how much you gave it.
I gave it 1 star.
It was
good one
it was
star.
low.
And Eyes Wide Shut, I
So-
think the only people who like that movie were like Alex and I.
I think I gave it a 7.
Yeah,
So yeah,
so
I
yeah.
brought it down a bit. So
Makes sense, I
the
guess.
average ranking across every single episode is a 7.1.
That
So if you
makes
want to
sense.
watch the most like average reeled in episode, you can watch 12 Angry Men with Blades of Glory, our first episode, or Portrait of a Lady on Fire and The Book of Eli, which both had an average rating of 7.
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
those are our
though.
most average episodes.
So overall, we give movies a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
That makes sense,
All
though. I
movies.
feel like I That makes sense.
Yeah.
That checks out.
That's I liked it.
Because we gave a lot of 10s for our movies, a lot of 1s and 2s for yours.
Yeah. So now we're going on to the average rating of our individual picks, but across everybody else.
I don't know what this means.
So, basically, like, we'll start with Avery. So Avery's picks. What is the average in the episode that we rated?
Oh, okay.
So not including your rating.
2.3.
So the highest movie that the three of us gave
Uptown Girls.
Yeah, is Uptown Girls, followed by J. Kelly. Uptown Girls at 8.33.
J. Kelly
J. Kelly at 8.
We're counting that
as an Avery pick.
It's an Avery
pick. And then Booksmart and Tangled at 7. So those the top three.
Sense.
The bottom three are How to Build a Better Boy at 2.33, Abduction and Girl vs. Monster at 2, and then The Kissing Booth at 1.33. So the average rating of what we give Avery
like 3.
Picks, it's a 4.608.
You know, that's higher than I thought, actually. Because I feel like you guys always have it in the negative.
That's the average of like
the
three of us.
We almost passed,
I'm getting there.
All right.
It'd be interesting to see if you get a passing rating, like if we. Like,
I don't think
so. I actually, because you guys always lean more negative, I feel like, than positive.
You should try recommending
better movies.
I think between the three of us, who do you guys think that the others rated their picks like the highest?
I think it's Sam, and the reason why is because I think Avery carries it.
I think it is you because you have movies that I think we're all like good on, and Avery's usually higher up.
Yeah, because with both of us, I feel like her rating is gonna drag our average down quite a bit.
I think second, it's gonna be between me and Alex. I don't know who because I feel like
usually you don't know.
I think you're second because A Serious Man dragged mine down.
No, but he's also. What have you recommended?
I recommend. My highest was probably Do the Right Thing.
I think it probably goes Sam, Alex, you.
Maybe. With Alex and I both, I feel like both of us recommend movies usually that the other has seen, so I feel like our ratings are usually in the similar like thing.
Yeah, you guys for a lot of these are really
actually.
I also, you hated A Serious Man, but you also hated Uncut Gems.
I
think that balances out.
Yeah. Blue Velvet yours?
That was yours, I think.
Okay. That was yours.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I think it goes Alex then.
Yeah, Sam and then.
Yeah, Sam, Alex, and you guys all.
So,
I think the Truman Show.
The best, the best average rating is me.
Yeah.
At an 8.521, which I would say is very good.
That is good.
So the ones that you guys rated the highest was Arrival and Portrait of a Lady on Fire at 9.33, and then the lowest was Your Name at a 7, which I'm still salty about.
That's completely fair, I think.
But whatever.
That might be my least favorite of your recommendations, and I still like the movie a lot.
Yeah. That's my least favorite of your recommendations.
And then
actually, no, I like it more than
all of your movies are positive for me, so keep it.
Whatever, man. Don't even speak to me. So
I just
between you two, the person who has the highest average rating is a Swan.
Let's go.
Really?
It's very
we need to
change man killed you.
Oh man.
A Swan has an average of 7.935.
What?
Alex, you have an average of 7.852.
Ooh.
So you guys are like,
if you gave A Serious Man one more star, that would have done it.
So Osman, your highest average rating is The Truman Show.
That
at a 9.833.
That checks out.
And then your lowest are Uncut Gems and A Complete Unknown.
Yeah,
I counted that as yours.
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
I just counted that as yours because
technically counts as a group pick. But
Uncut Gems is
I did not participate in picking that.
And then Alex, your highest ratings were Bound and High and Low at an 8.666. And then your lowest was A Serious Man at 6.
Yeah.
That checks out.
High and Low, I think I gave that a 10 as well. So.
Right. And I gotta pick better movies now.
Yeah.
Raise my average up.
5 point whatever.
A Serious Man's a great movie.
Now just recommend like anything Star Wars.
Why would I do that?
Because
we did our Star Wars episode.
A Serious Man's great.
It is great.
Now we have just the best average ranking for a singular movie. So what movies do you guys think like all of us loved?
Toy Story 3.
It's definitely
Toy Story 2.
It's one of the
Truman
Toy Stories.
Show,
Or the
Truman Show and Arrival.
Oh, like both?
Toy Story 2?
Just the singular movie. Which movie did we love the most?
I think it's Toy Story 2.
I think...
You think Toy Story 2?
I gave it a 9, you gave it like a 9, you gave it a 9,
It might...
and she gave
well,
it a
that doesn't
most
count.
of us gave Truman Show a 10 and Arrival a 10.
Truman Show, I gave a 10. You gave Truman Show a 10, right, Sam? You gave
I gave it a 10. She gave it like a 9.
Ooh.
It has to be Truman
Okay, then
Show.
it's Truman Show. That's like the most likable movie, so yeah.
But Arrival, I think we
I
also
think it's
all gave
I don't think I was that
9s.
high on Arrival.
In third place, we have Do the Right Thing, recent one, at a 9.25. Then we have in second place a 4-way tie between 12 Angry Men, Arrival, One Battle After Another, and Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
One battle.
Yeah,
That doesn't...
at a 9.5.
That's a group thing, though.
Yeah, it doesn't count towards like. I didn't associate it with anybody, but it still counts for like our average ranking across all of us.
Those are fair. Yeah.
Okay.
And then number 1 is The Truman Show at 9.875, which Avery, you gave The Truman Show a 9.5.
I did?
The rest of us gave it a 10, so we were very close to a full 10
I thought I gave that like an
episode.
8. Okay.
Okay. But you gave it that.
Yeah.
What are the 3 lowest?
All right,
so
Kissing Booth,
The Kissing Booth, Abduction, and
Book of Eli.
Because it has to be ones that even she didn't give a high rating to. And she only gave Abduction a 6. And I remember because we yelled at her about that for like 5 minutes.
It's the dumbest thing ever. The Thinning, Abduction, and The Kissing Booth. Those are mine.
That's probably about
No,
right.
How to Build a Better Boy.
How to Build a Better Boy.
You guys...
No, what did you guys all give Godfather Part 3?
It wasn't one of the lowest because you single-handedly.
I mean, Godfather Part 3 is the lowest of like the film bro rankings.
Yeah.
I didn't associate it to any of us, but it's not in like
good
the
movie.
bottom.
I hadn't even
ones.
seen it. It's not a good movie.
No.
Okay, I'm guessing Kissing Booth.
So third to last, we have a 2-way tie between How to Build a Better Boy and The Thinning at 3.5.
Thinning.
In second to last place, we have Abduction at a 3.
Like
And then in
Booth.
last place, we have The Kissing Booth at a
The Kissing Booth was
2.5.
bad.
That's one of the better movies you've recommended too.
That was exceptionally bad. That was pretty bad.
Okay,
I love The Kissing Booth.
now,
Kissing Booth.
Oh, I love it. I think it's great.
now we're seeing
It's a 2 out of 10. Maybe a 1 out of 10
whose
even.
movie picks do we individually like the most?
Okay.
So, like,
yours the most.
Avery, which person do you think likes you like the picks the most out of the 3 of us?
That's
Okay.
Avery probably likes Sam's. Sam. I wonder who's Sam's.
Well,
I feel
let's start
like-
with Avery.
Okay, it has to be you.
So
It has to be
I
Sam.
am the
there's no-
highest
Yeah.
with an average. You rate my movies
think
on
it's Sam,
average
Alex, and me.
7.714.
That's about right.
Who do you think in between those two do you like?
Probably
the
Alex.
most? Alex?
It has to be. No! Oh,
I
no.
think the Truman Show is kind of carrying you
it probably is.
because
this is so
you
bullshit.
gave you he has no, it's still pretty low. Because on average, you give his movies a 5.81.
That's
I
still a
pass.
pass, though.
Pass.
That's still a pass. That's so messed
the
up.
highest one that you gave was
Truman
The Truman Show
Show.
at 9.5, and then the lowest was Uncut Gems and A Complete Unknown at 3.
Yeah.
For me, the highest you gave was Dead Poets Society at a 9.5,
Yeah.
and then the lowest was Society of the Snow in Your Name at a 6.
I guess I
Yeah.
haven't done anything that you would have given like a 9 or a 10
Yeah.
to. I think it's
the,
that
Truman
the
Show is
highest
kind of a-
rating you've given in Alex pick is a 7.
Really?
Really?
But I feel like
Wow.
he's consistent, though. No?
That's true. The
you've
only one you
given-
didn't like was A Serious Man.
Yeah. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like
'cause
his is
you
like...
gave-
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gave Bound a 7. That's your highest. Then you gave High and Low, The
Oh.
Apartment, Nirvana the Band, and I Like Movies at a 6.
Yeah.
Amadeus at a 5, and then A Serious Man at a 2.
Yeah, so he's more consistent.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Whereas,
good job.
yeah, this one you're kind
I'm
of
not
going all
happy
the way
about
down.
that. I gotta find something that you like think is a
Yeah.
masterpiece.
So
I'll just
you gave-
recommend a comedy movie.
Just
you-
recommend.
I tried
A
recommending
Serious
a comedy.
Man is not a comedy.
It
Yes,
is
it
a
is. So
comedy.
is The Apartment.
Do like a
God.
Adam Sandler movie, or like a Will
would I
Ferrell
do
movie.
that?
Do you not have like a Will?
I recommended an Adam Sandler
Not
movie.
no.
That's a comedy. That's a funny fucking movie.
God.
If you recommend like, we can do what's that one Yes Man or whatever.
I Love You, Man.
I Love You,
That's not
Man.
really a good.
Just
I
recommend
would probably
garbage.
love it.
You'll be fine. Or recommend like
I
a Truman
want to
Show.
recommend
A
garbage.
Truman Show type of movie. That's
The,
like
the
Can you
whole
do
point
Dumb
is
and
I'm
Dumber?
reeling you in.
I
Why would I
guess
do Dumb and Dumber?
Because I want to watch that movie. And I
You
You
can
can
probably
watch
like
it. You can watch the movie. No one's stopping you from watching the
Watch
movie.
it.
God.
Aw.
Okay. So now moving on to Asman.
Yeah.
Who do you think you like the picks like the best?
It's
Alex.
either you or Alex. I feel
I
like it
think
might
that's
be
Alex.
you.
Really?
You think
I
so?
think it's Alex.
I think
Because you guys are very
Are you
similar.
sure it's not Avery?
Yeah,
I'm
you're
so
not
sorry.
even considering
I
me.
assume no.
Has to be
No.
Alex.
I honestly okay. Dead Poet Society, I give like a high rating to. Silent Voice.
You fucking
Silent
loved
Snow.
High and Low.
Yeah, that's one movie. I'm trying to think of. No, it could be Alex, because
Bound.
I've given High and Low a 10, The Apartment a 10.
Nirvana the band technically is my pick. You gave that a 10.
I gave
think.
that a
has to
9.
be Alex.
I gave Amadeus a 9. I gave it could be Alex.
Is there
Alex.
anything
So-
from Sam that you didn't give a high rating to? Your name. That might bring it down.
That could bring you down.
Well, okay, so we know it's not Avery.
What do you mean?
You gave Avery's picks on average a 4.5.
That's higher than I thought.
The highest Avery pick was Uptown Girls
Yeah.
at an 8, and then the lowest was The Kissing Booth at a 1.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably gonna be everyone's.
So you think Alex is higher?
I think so.
It's actually a tie.
Whoa.
Exact tie.
It is an exact tie.
Whoa.
At a 9 out of 10, which
Okay.
is really good.
That's
Jesus
crazy.
Christ.
So you
No
gave
decimal in there. It's just an exact 9.
it's an exact 9.
That's
if my
insane.
You like
calculations
their
are
movies
correct.
twice as much as
They're
my
actually
movies.
good movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Man.
you gave for me the highest was A Silent Voice and Portrait of a Lady on Fire at a 10.
Yeah.
And the lowest was Your Name at a 7.
Yeah.
But then you gave like 4 of my other movies a 9,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
And then for Alex, your highest were High and Low in The Apartment at a 10.
Mhm.
And then your lowest were I Like Movies and A Serious Man at an 8. So I
The
think it's
lowest-
because
the
I
lowest
had
is an 8. That's crazy.
yeah.
Oh
I think
my
it's because I only
God.
had 1 out of 7 and a lot at 9, whereas Alex was a bit more spread out in between the 3. So
Okay.
it
High and Low is
Yeah.
a great movie, man.
so yeah, we're
That's-
tied for like your favorite picks,
That's
which is pretty
crazy.
good.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Alex, who do you think you
I
like
think it
movies
has
the
to be a
most?
Swan. I'd be
Yeah.
shocked if it isn't.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's almost
I
definitely
think
not
you're much lower on her movies than I am, or like anyone is, honestly. He's probably the
Yeah,
lowest on your movies than all of us.
I think so.
I'm actually I didn't
He
even
didn't
check
give
that.
like he gave a Silent Voice like a 7, an 8, or something.
I bumped it to an 8 in the
No,
end.
Out of
actually
pity.
Right.
Avery
I
is
gave
the
it a
lowest
7.
on my movies, surprisingly.
How?
How?
I guess that makes sense.
Because
Because even the good ones, like you, I don't think went to a 10 that often.
All right. Fair enough.
Like I gave,
I
like
mean,
I gave The
I
Fly
will
a 10. I
say
gave
one
Arrival a
thing.
10.
Oh, The Fly was your pick.
Avery never gave any of our picks a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, the closest was 9.5.
That checks
for the
out.
Truman Show.
Yeah.
Not
Which
a
is-
single
She refuses
one.
to on principle.
Yeah.
Even Truman Show, she could have given that a 10.
A
but-
9.5.
Sometimes I've said like if I rewatched, I would give it a
Yeah.
10.
Okay.
So, your average for an Avery pick was a 4.416.
Lower
Your
than I am.
highest was Jay Kelly.
Yeah, naturally.
His
Followed
highest was
by
his own
the
pick.
real Avery pick, Uptown Girls at 8.
Well, yeah.
And then your
Jake
lowest...
Kelly was a real Avery pick. I did not tell her to
This
pick
is
it.
true. That was my
Fine,
idea.
Fine.
I told her to
Fair
watch
enough.
it initially, but not for the podcast.
fine.
She
Yeah,
was the one
I
who
watched
said we
it
should do it for the
willingly.
podcast.
Yeah, this
You
is
have
true.
been
Okay.
talking about Jay Kelly for a whole
I
year now.
willingly
You have.
watched
It's
it.
still
so
on your
good.
Twitter
It's-
thing. You're still Jay Kelly Nation on Twitter.
God.
It's true.
Jeez.
It's a good
And then
movie.
your lowest was The Kissing Booth at a 1.
Yeah.
No.
And
So
between me and
messed
Isman, it's actually not too far off, but you are right. I am lower than him.
Yeah.
The highest rating you've given my movies is a 10. You've given Arrival, The Fly, and Portrait of a Lady on Fire a 10.
Arrival on a 10
And
is
you've
kind of
actually
crazy.
only given all of my movies. You've only given a 10 or an 8, and you gave Society of the
Really?
Snow, A Silent Voice, Dead Poet Society, and Your Name an 8. So
No 9s.
no.
Arrival on 10
I
is
think
crazy.
that's
I'm sorry.
why.
Like, Arrival
That's
is
a
so
good movie.
inflated on this list. I'm sorry.
That's such a good
I also
movie.
I didn't
Okay.
rewatch Arrival for that.
Me neither. Which is why I think it's so
So
inflated.
maybe
so,
if I watch it again,
Okay, man.
whatever.
I liked
that
it.
might have
You gave
inflated
Arrival a
things bit.
9, so. Anyways.
I liked it.
That's good. I
Jeremy
like it.
Renner.
You gave the Swan Picks on average a 9. So you guys are like matching.
Yeah.
You guys are very close throughout all of this.
They're like the same.
Um,
We've seen all of the movies.
Yeah.
that I recommend.
So the highest ones were The Truman Show, Goodfellas, and Do the Right Thing, which he gave a 10. And then the
No Blue
lowest
Velvet.
was... He gave Blue Velvet a 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the lowest was A
Closer to
Complete
a
Unknown
10.
at a 7. What do you guys... Who do you guys think I like the movies the most from?
Me?
You think so?
Ooh.
Probably a Swan.
No,
yeah.
wait.
I actually think that you would rate my movies higher than what they've rated, but I still
Yeah.
think
I'm
still
curious
the
if she
lowest.
gives you a passing grade.
Yeah, I think I passed for you, but I still don't
It's
think
honestly
it's high.
funny.
It
You'd expect it
might-
to be close between you guys. It's actually, I mean, it's close, but it's not that close between
It
you two.
might
There
be.
is
You
somebody
like
who's
his
clearly
more.
like
It
the
might
winner
be
here.
Alex.
It might be. Did you give Bound a 10?
Bound was a 10. The Apartment was a 9. High and Low
Yeah.
was.
Nirvana the band you like.
The High and Low was a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be me then.
It might
Because
be
she wasn't
Alex.
as big on Blue Velvet, and she wasn't as big on Eyes Wide Shut.
Nope.
So I think it's me.
Yeah.
You are right.
Yeah.
I gave Alex. Alex, I rated your movies the highest out of all of us. I gave
Really?
all of your. I can't speak. Your movies on average a 9.14.
Whoa,
So-
that's good.
I guess I really
Jesus.
like your recommendations. So yeah, the highest are Bound, High and Low, and Nirvana the Band at a 10, and then the lowest are I Like Movies and A Serious Man at an 8.
Okay.
So I've only given it that.
That's
Yeah.
A serious man is getting
In-
it. on
in
those ones.
It's so good though.
In second place is The Swan at an 8.625. So it's still a decent bit
Yeah.
away
Yeah,
from
that's
you
a
guys.
big
Yeah.
gap.
Like farther than any of the others. And
I think Eyes Wide Shut is bringing me down.
the Truman Show and Do the Right Thing are my top for you at a 10. And then Eyes Wide Shut and A Complete Unknown at a 7.
Eyes Wide Shut is great, but okay, it's fine.
Okay. And then
Awful
Avery.
movie. I think I pass.
I think you passed.
I think I pass
hope
because
to
there's
God
some
no.
that you liked more than them because of nostalgia.
You are this far off from a passing
Oh
grade.
Let's go.
You're at a 4.958.
Okay, we're rounding that up. We're rounding that
Okay,
up. to a
4.96. Yes.
No,
We're rounding that up.
no.
As a TA, I would not round that up.
Hey,
There we
Fuck that
go.
guys.
a five rounds up. So we go up to a 5.
Nah, we don't round.
It's very close. The highest
I
I've given your
tried.
ratings are Uptown Girls and Tangled at a 9.
Yeah.
And then the lowest, Abduction.
9.
9 is so crazy.
You give
I'm
Jay
sorry.
Kelly a 9.
Yeah,
Which is also
'cause Jake
bullshit.
Kelly's a real movie.
Whatever.
Well,
And then the lowest, Abduction, Girl vs. Monster, Hot Frosty, and The Kissing Booth at a 2.
yeah.
You gave all
Um,
those 2s?
Yes.
So bad.
So, yeah. So
Aw,
now,
man.
actually, I'm going to say this part too. This is just like a fun fact. There are only 2 times in all of our, these 2 seasons that for a movie, we all agreed on the same ranking or the rating.
All of us?
Yeah.
Every single one of us.
Kissing-
Oftentimes, there's
not
almost always
Kissing
one of
Booth.
us that's off, but there's only 2 times.
What was it called? Booksmart was one.
Okay.
What was the other
Oh,
one?
it was
Oh,
Booksmart.
yeah.
Booksmart. Did we give everything a?
Maybe Toy Story 2? Do we all give that the same
I
rating?
know. I feel like it was one of the
You
Toy
gave it a very
Stories.
high rating, and Avery wasn't that high on it.
I wasn't
I don't
not
think so.
high on
Maybe
it.
Toy Story 1?
It's
Could it have been
definitely
one of them?
Booksmart because I remember saying that.
It wasn't 3 because you don't like it as much,
Yeah.
and it wasn't.
I feel it could have been 1.
It's not one of the Toy Stories. Can you confirm?
Was it
that?
Wake
You
Up
want
Dead
me to
Man?
confirm it? I thought you guys were just going to like...
Was it Wake
I
Up Dead
know
Man?
one is.
No.
I didn't
definitely-
include the
Oh, you didn't.
Knives
Booksmart.
Out.
Booksmart is
It can't
definitely
be any
one.
of the Avery recommendations.
No, hold on.
It
Actually,
can't
no,
be.
it can't be.
No, I was gonna say Total Anchorman.
It can't be anything that we gave a 10 if she never gave a 10 to anything.
She did not give a single 10.
Yeah.
The closest was The Truman Show at a 9.5. And Dead Poet Society.
Those are
So
good movies.
what's something else that none of us gave a 10?
No one was high on Misery.
It could be Misery.
Toy Story 2 and Booksmart.
You're right, Avery.
Let's go!
Toy
Was
Story
two.
2, we all gave a 9.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like looking through that. I'm like, well, that's crazy. That's the only time. Well, but I had started doing this list before we recorded the Booksmart episode.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, wow, that's the only time that we...
Yeah.
No,
All
but
agreed.
Booksmart's a pretty
And
Um,
Booksmart, yeah.
solid.
Cool.
So now, here's the crazy thing. We're actually all pretty close on this. Who do you guys think is the meanest out of all of us? Across all ratings of other people's picks, other than your own?
Meanest
And
isn't
who's the
who gave
nicest?
the
The
lowest rating.
Yeah.
It's
So this is
Alex.
your average rating for everything other than your own picks. I guess we'll start with the highest. Who do you guys think is the nicest?
The nicest?
The
Yeah.
nicest rating.
Oh.
Sam.
Really? I don't think so.
Who rates other people's the nicest?
Yeah.
Sam.
These aren't including your own picks.
This
so,
has to be Sam. Wait, no. I think it's me or Alex. I think it might be me. I think I've given
You
more
think
10s.
you're the nicest?
No, in terms of rating. I think I've given out more 10s.
In terms of rating, I'm not the nicest in
Yeah,
real
and of
life.
course in terms
I
of rating.
think Sam might be the nicest.
I don't think
actually.
Sam's given nearly enough 10s.
Can you say,
Yeah.
is it close? Or is there like a clear winner?
There's a clear winner, but like they're all almost always between like 100th or like 200ths from each
Oh
other.
god, so we're
I
basically.
feel
all
like
the
it might
same.
be Alex and I because I feel like we've given the most 10s on this podcast. I think.
Okay.
To movies that are not our picks, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, so wait, what's so
I'm thinking
you're
it's-
saying in
it's
between
me and-
us?
me and
You're
Emma.
I'm
saying
saying
me.
Sam.
I'm saying, I'll say Osman. I think it's probably him.
Avery is right once again.
It's you.
I'm so
I am
good.
officially the nicest reeled in member.
You've given like 5 of her movies 2 out of 10s.
You know what? She
Yeah.
liked Tangled.
Was it
But
really
that's the
you,
lowest.
like Tangled really carried it that much?
Uptown Girls.
I don't think it did. Like,
Yeah, but we gave that the same rating.
That's true.
I
Well,
think
chat,
it's
I
also
don't
because the lowest rating I've given an Avery pick is a 2, whereas you guys have both given one of her movies a 1. So my average
messed up.
across everybody else is 6.972 out of 10.
You know what? I guess it makes
Yeah.
sense that she gave some of like the Disney Channel movies a passing grade.
This is true.
So
She
like
gave Camp Rock a
the
high
highest
one.
non-Sam
Yeah.
picks for me are The Truman Show, Do the Right Thing, Bound, High and Low, and Nirvana the Band out of 10.
So
And then
none of Avery's picks.
The lowest is Abduction, Girl vs. Monster, Hot Frosty, and The Kissing Booth.
So all
all-
of Avery's picks.
Yeah, that's
Unfortunately,
expected.
that is kind of a pattern here.
What
Yeah.
do you mean,
So,
guys?
what about for the next 2?
next
who-
nicest?
Second nicest?
Sure.
Alex.
It-
Mm?
It can be Avery, right? It's not
I don't
Avery.
think
it's
it's
definitely
me.
not Avery.
Like, what ranking do you guys think?
I
you guys
think it
fall
goes.
at?
Wait, this
Maybe
is
it's
hard.
me,
'cause-
because I gave Hot Frosty a positive rating, and
This
I
is
like Jay
true.
Kelly more.
I'll say the bottom
your
2
pick?
are a lot closer. The bottom 2,
I think it goes Sam, Alex, Usman, me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure,
I think so.
we'll go with that.
Okay, well that was easy to convince.
So in second place for nicest is actually Osman.
Okay.
What the fuck?
At a
man.
And we're just-
Really?
6.725 out of 10.
Okay.
So your highest non-Osman pick is A Silent Voice, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, High and Low in the Apartment out of 10.
Yeah.
And then your lowest is The Kissing Booth out of 1.
Messed up.
Yeah.
So then it goes Alex and me.
In third place is Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at
So
a
I'm the meanest.
6.509.
That makes sense.
Your highest non-Alex pick was Arrival, The Fly, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, The Truman Show, Goodfellas, and Do the Right Thing.
Fucking
Not
Arrival.
Jay
And
Kelly?
then your low. No, you only give Jay Kelly a 9.
Ugh.
And then your lowest is The Kissing Booth.
Yeah.
So
This is Arrival propaganda. This is insane.
What
You
the-
also
Arrival's
liked it a
good.
lot.
I know, but this is insane. It's like
Jesus
taking
Christ.
over the list.
Oh my god. And then
Okay.
Avery,
No.
I'm the
you
meanest.
you are the meanest, unfortunately. You
Fuck
gave
you,
your average
Avery.
rating is 6.485.
That's still passing.
So your highest non-Avery picks are The Truman Show and Dead Poet Society, which is a 9.5, which
Yeah.
is all of us have given picks other than our own a 10, other than you.
Sorry, gang.
What?
Someone
Like
recommend.
Oh,
each of
right,
us,
right.
we've given like
You
one of
can
our
count
the
those
others
as
a
a
10. And then your lowest were A Serious Man and The Godfather Part 2
Yeah.
at a 2.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
that's-
see it. So if you recommend movies which are like the most popular on Letterboxd, then you probably get a high rating from Avery. Because Dead Poet Society is the one of the most
that's
popular
true.
movies. Then The Truman Show, and then whatever is next, La La
Yeah.
Land, maybe.
But yeah, no, so that's
God.
So
We're
now
gonna
we
have
know.
to do La La Land. We're
To
gonna
get
have
the ratings
to
up,
do-
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so that's my reeled and wrapped. Did you guys enjoy all the
I
stats?
enjoyed
was
that. That
really
was
good.
fun.
That was very fun.
Good job,
Now we know
Sam.
officially whose picks we like the most, who's the nicest, who's the meanest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which episodes are best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay!
I guess this just means you guys need to go re-listen again to the A Silent Voice and Uptown Girls episode.
This
'cause
is so
it's
true.
our best. It's the episode that we enjoyed the most, I guess. Because
So
I guess
true.
so.
yeah.
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 Or if you want to like die, then listen to Eyes Wide Shut and The Kissing Booth.
It's a perfectly fine
Two
episode.
great movies.
Eyes Wide Shut is I should have known that was gonna be a low movie.
Well, I mean, you pick a movie that you like. You know, like
But
it
there's
doesn't
other
matter.
But there's other Kubrick movies that I like a lot more. I don't know why I picked that one. Why did I
Because
pick that
Tom Cruise.
No,
because
that
you
wasn't
wanted to
why.
show me a Tom Cruise
one?
movie.
I think I picked it because it was the most similar Kubrick movie to like The Kissing Booth. I think
Oh.
that's why.
Yeah.
But no, I recently rewatched Doctor Strangelove. That should be. You should recommend that. That's a fun movie. It's a great
But yeah,
movie.
maybe every time we do like a season finale, I can do another one of them.
Sad.
I should have done one that was like some sort of stat for like season 1 and season 2.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that next time. But yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Thank you.
thank you
all.
for an
Thank you for
amazing
listening.
season 2.
Go
Yeah.
watch The Odyssey while it's still in theaters. It's gonna be there for a while.
IMAX. It's gonna be an IMAX for 7 more months.
It is.
It will be
Actually?
until
I don't
Dune
know.
takes over.
Yeah.
And also go watch Avengers Doomsday and Infinity Vision when it releases. It's gonna
What?
be the age.
Infinity
It's like the new
Vision?
IMAX now.
No,
It's
it's fake.
God.
Dune. So Dune Part 3 has taken over all the IMAX screenings, and Avengers Doomsday didn't get any, so they're creating a new thing called Infinity Vision, which is just like a normal movie theater, a normal screen. But
Well, it's like the premium one in between. So at Landmark it's Laser Ultra, and Cineplex it's Ultra AVX. It's just that, but they're rebranding it Infinity Vision and then charging like $2 more.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
But yeah, go watch the Odyssey. Read the poem. Shout
Also-
out.
I should do that at some point.
Yeah.
Shout out Emily Wilson.
So
Also,
true.
shout
Her
out Selena
translation.
Gomez because today's her birthday. For those who celebrate.
No.
No.
Yes.
Shout out Homer.
Simpson.
Homer
Don't.
Simpson. They should have said that in the movie.
Homer drops his donut. Dough.
But no, yeah, shout out those guys. Shout out Nolan.
Eat my
Shout out,
shorts.
I guess, Arrival and A Serious Man.
Shout out Anne Hathaway. I feel like we didn't talk about her too much. She's so good.
She's good.
She's too good.
She's pregnant.
She's
She
pregnant.
is. And she's doing it all.
Doing it all. But yeah, watch The Odyssey.
So true.
Stay fresh, and thank you for listening. And
Stay tuned for season 3 one day. One of these days.
one of these
At
days,
some point. We'll be back.
we'll do our
Real
first
Din will return in.
Avengers Doomsday. I think our first episode back should be Avengers Doomsday.
No, we'll
Oh,
be back way
God,
before
no.
Doomsday.
I think Doomsday.
No.
When
Doomsday.
does it come
It's
out?
like December.
Okay, yeah, I hope we're back
we
by
gotta
then.
back
do. We
before then.
gotta do Doomsday.
No.